Good afternoon and welcome back to the Crystal Palace National Sports Centre. Game one of our doubleheader is done, and now we're here for the top of the table clash in the Dynamik Men's Super League. Michael Hunter-Morris, Jess Smith, and Jess, this is going to be a great game to go into the Christmas break.
Oh yeah, super tasty to finish off the day with. Headed into the Christmas break, the two giants at the top of the table, as it were. Although only one of them are really giants. Yeah, we talked about this a lot at the podcast this past week, so lots to look forward to. A bit of pressure on both teams. It's still, we're only halfway through the season, so plenty to see. Really interested to see how this turns out.
Yeah, indeed, and we'll start with the reigning champions, the London Giants, warming up behind us. And Jess, opening weekend, they failed Nottingham 3-1, but Povarenko got hurt. He came back in a couple of weeks ago, and that's really given a spark to this offense. Yeah,
it has. He's been highly effective for them. We've talked about Giants being probably the tallest team for the Dynamik Men's Super League. So, it's just now that they've been able to start to take advantage of that, of their height, it's really making a difference. So, will they continue to play as a team? Do they still have some kinks to work out, or are they running at full capacity right now? And if they are running at full capacity, what does that mean against a top of the table Malory squad?
Indeed, and obviously a mid-season addition. I say mid-season, we're still at the early stages, but obviously a former Malory player, Dalton Bunn, now on the London Giants team, another option in the outside position. Mihail Stowe is spoiled for choice.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've seen Bunn. He's massively important to the service reception. He's great in defense, and he's got loads of shot options when he's at the net. So, will he make a difference? Is he going to, show up on the court today? Is he going to start? Not start? We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll definitely understand that, but it's such a dynamic player, Dalton Bunn. Again, a little bit of beach background, but he's so versatile. He had so much impact for Malory last year, and that experience is really going to help London Giants.
Yeah, he knows the players that he's going up against today. He knows what to expect from them. He knows how to handle their serves. So he will, surely they've been using his knowledge, at least at training for the last couple of weeks, in preparation for today's match.
Yeah, and there's so much depth on this London Giants roster. They've got the ability to make changes. So that's the interesting bit, though. There's sometimes a problem of how many players have they got. Obviously, the setting topic is a big discussion. Griffin Fires has done a really good job, but when Diego Tamburini's come in, he's impacted games. So Mihail Stowe has so many options. Sometimes it's difficult to navigate that.
Yeah, it can be. It can be really difficult to decide who your starting seven should be. But when you have this many options, it gives you plenty of flexibility as the match goes on. You can adapt to scenarios that you weren't expecting from your opponents. And like you said, Tamburini's had a massive impact when he's come in as setter, as a substitution during their matches so far this season.
Indeed. The toss is happening while players are still on court. That's unique. It doesn't look like, well, obviously Mihail Stowe is also in kits. It looks like we're not going to have a proper chance to catch up with him. I think we might be changing ends, so indeed we are. So I think we knew who won the toss, Jess, and we'll take a walk as the teams change ends. We'll go catch up with Malory as well. But this Malory team, yes, such a strong start. There are a lot of changes, some continuity, but a lot of changes for them to be 6-0. How much confidence does that give this group?
It's going to be massive confidence. They played most of the squads so far already, and they'll take a lot from that. It'll be interesting to see what any lineup changes will have an impact on as far as today goes. And yeah, can they close out the first half of the season with a 7-0, or will they crumble under a little bit of the pressure and struggle today as we see a rematch of the Final Four match from last season?
Yeah, mass confusion on the change of ends. We're trying to grab people. Everyone's moving. Everyone was lovely and settled, but obviously the sun, we'll talk about a little bit with our courtside reporter, Leah Raffert. So we'll see if we can get a quick word with someone from Malory. Jefferson Williams moving bags. Carol Gordon's being waved to. It's all carnage down here. Jess, so much for pre-laid plans.
Yes, well, the best laid plans and all of that jazz. So it's never going to go exactly to plan. But luckily, Carol is nice enough to come and speak to me. No, do not apologize. You grab that mic from Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Hi.
So, Carol, exciting match today?
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
So, you're top of the table right now. You've not had any losses. Are you feeling the pressure today, or are you feeling relaxed and confident?
I think coming off of a season last season that we just missed out on a couple of things, that the pressure's always on us. We demand of each other in training. So I think, yes, they'll feel the pressure today. And again, it's such a historic building. I told the players my first performance here was in 1977 as a hockey goalkeeper. So it has a special memory for me, this place.
Yeah.
So we're expecting a good performance from them today.
Definitely. Okay, so exciting, interesting change today. You've not got Nathan today, but you do have Zach.
Yes.
So it's nice to have two really big oppos to choose from. So how do you think that's going to change the dynamic today?
The best thing we have is a depth of players that can play different roles. And for us, it's about being tactically astute as to where we play Zach and how we play him. That's a little clues to some changes that may happen that people may not expect today. So.
Okay, yeah, that's exciting. Okay, best of luck today.
Thanks a lot. Have a good game.
Thanks.
And you can see how fired up this Malory team are, Jess. We'll get out the way as the players about to start on-court warm-up, and talked about it there. No Nathan, no Zach. But Zach's in, so how much impact do you think that will have? Because Zach's a very different type of player. You lose Nathan's defense.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan's been so good in defense so far this season, so it's going to be a bit of a blow for this squad, but they will be looking to capitalize on the height advantage that Zach does give them.
Indeed. And the other big news, and we'll break this one, this hasn't been announced. Logan Clark, Malory's captain, done for the season. He's headed back to the States. He's got work out there. So now Malory have also got to figure out an option in the middle. Logan's going to be a huge loss to this Eagles team with his leadership.
Yeah, massive loss, and you're right. And the leadership is probably the more important aspect of it. You know, you can usually find a player that's a high enough level to fill a gap there. But from a leadership perspective, especially with not having Nathan today, I think this is going to be really difficult. So it's a question of who's really stepping up to the plate in that position and keeping the guys riled up and ready to play at all times on the court.
But bad news brings good news. Back in warm-ups, I believe he's ready to start. Dylan Cohen, who broke his finger on opening day. I believe that was in the first set as well. Yep. Of that victory for Malory on opening day, ready to go. So the perfect timing, lose Logan, but Dylan's ready, so that will give a boost at Malory. You don't have to scramble as much, you can just slot Dylan back into the system.
Yeah, exactly. So it's less disruptive in that sense, you know, because they are losing one but gaining another, so it'll be nice for them to have a player back. And yeah, we saw Dylan, he was really, really impactful last season, so I'm sure he'll make a difference in today's match as well.
Indeed, it'll be very interesting for Malory. They try and get some momentum. Jess, we're going to let you head upstairs and get ready for the game, as we'll bring in our courtside respondent, Aaliyah Raffert, to get some thoughts, and we'll see you in a sec, Jess.
Right, see you in a second.
As Aaliyah comes in, and we'll just get her thoughts. Obviously, Malory outside, having completed a 3-1 victory over Darkstar yesterday. And Aaliyah, we'll start with the toss news. Malory won the toss, immediately changed the ends. We saw in the women's game the impact on the Sun. So, kind of what were your observations, and how do you think the men are going to tweak that? Because obviously the Sun is disappearing, but maybe with this maybe disappearing late, maybe as early as set 2, a really big toss to win to Malory to get away from the Sun early.
Yeah, I do think it was a really smart decision to switch sides. I think they're going for that. I mean, even in a sweep, you want that first and third set to stick it. Just like we saw in the second set for Lionhearts. Not good. So I think for first and third, it's just a safe bet to be on this side, but as you're saying, it's dissipating, it's going away. But we might see some glimpses. I feel like it could come shooting through for service seed, but height could be another thing too. That might be above.
Yeah, we'll see how that shapes out. But obviously, we talked about it with Jess. Top of the table clash. From a playing point of view, how big is today to get a victory going into the Christmas break? You've got 3 or 4 weeks now off. If you can come in here and make a statement, either Malory or London Giants, and get a victory, get 3 points on the board, how much does that change the outlook going into Christmas break?
I mean, I think going home with a win today, whoever does, it's big. It's going into a break. You're taking whatever happens in this game, and you're using those 4 weeks to tweak everything and come back in the new year. But it's always good to go into Christmas holiday with a win, and whoever does that, I think, is just going to be the team that comes together and is solid as a team, united.
Yeah, we've only to see how aggressive you are versus getting the ball in play. But our last bigger piece of big news before we go upstairs to the pre-game, Final Four. We saw the dramatic game between these two teams last year, went to 5. Some maybe controversial moments at the end of that 5th set as well with not reversing subs. but we are going to be back here in Crystal Palace this year for the Final Four. Leah, it's your first time in the venue.
It is.
But you've already seen the crowd. You saw pictures last year, I know, when you were talking with Malory about coming to sign. So how important is it to have volleyball back here in London on the biggest stage at a Final Four?
I mean, I think it's amazing. I think there's a lot of viewership is always going up, and I think especially creating a tradition is super important, especially in a league like this that's trying to get out there more. And I think just these two teams especially, it's going to be a big game, and I think being here is the best place to do it.
Indeed. Well, I'm going to head upstairs. Aaliyah, you're going to stay down and give us the insights from both teams' benches. And Jess Smith, over to you.
Awesome.
Welcome back to the comms booth as we are just preparing to get things underway. We're just going to start talking about our Malory Eagles 1-2 watch. As we're just going to start talking about Joel, who is definitely going to be an impactful player for Malory in today's match. So we've got Joel in that starting setter role. You can see him sitting there for Omashebi, putting up a good ball. So he's been so dynamic for this Malory team so far this season, taking advantage of all of the offensive options that they have and making really solid connections with his players. So it'll be a little bit different now with the change in middles for the Malory squad. But we know that he has played with all of these players before. You can see there, really great to see Dylan back swinging at the ball following that injury. Still has a bit of tape on him, but yeah. You know, it's going to be down to Joel to try and put off the really big block of London Giants during the match today. Try and keep things moving, keep things changing enough so that his players have a good chance up against a really dynamic blocking side. As we move on to talk about the London Giants one to watch. And, you know, ironically, we were just talking about the setter for Malory Eagles and trying to keep things moving, as we're going to talk about Hamza Oyachi for London Giants.
Yeah, huge addition to this Giants team, literally and vigorously hitting 560 on the season. And caught up with him in the week, obviously, Moroccan born. This is his sixth stop in terms of toys, only 25 years young. But the reach he's had and what we've seen, Jess, is his ability to change games because he can hit over blocks.
Yeah.
He can hit over middles. And he's just been so dynamic that it's added a whole different factor for teams to worry about. That's where Giants were maybe lacking a little bit last year, is that middle strength, and he's just come in and lit the league up.
Yeah, completely. It's absolutely changed the offensive structure of this London Giants squad, how they approach matches, how they put their offense up, and what teams have to do to be ready to play against them. Because, you know, like you said, if he can hit over the block, and it's not as though other Super League teams have a tiny block, it just, you know, puts a different spin on the game.
Yeah, and I think I spoke to a lot about what he's settling in and learning, but he's got such an experienced group around him that he's got that freedom. But the other thing is he's really hungry. Like, the thing he talked to me about is, I still think I can go better. I can still get better. And I asked him what, and he said, just the timing of the block. Obviously, he's got such length on him, but actually trying to time that up. He's got 9 solo blocks, only 3 assisted blocks. So that connection, and we saw that on opening week, Nottingham were able to kind of hit through that gap between the block, and they're really trying to work that connection. So that's kind of the next phase for his game, and the fact that he's already thinking that he needs to level up is such an impressive feat.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you want to see in your players. You know, not just your big players, not just your power players, but everybody on the court. There's always some aspect of your game that you can improve. There's something that you can think about more. You can, you know, do a better job of reading your opponents and being prepared for something. But to hear a player specifically say that in an interview is so massive, because it just speaks to his mindset.
Yeah, it'll be super interesting. And obviously, I know you talked about Joel Martinez. I don't know if you mentioned he was late for warm-up.
I did not.
So we don't know if Joel's now going to start, which will make a really good one to watch when you're sat on the bench.
Yeah.
But that will be self-inflicted wounds by getting here late and then taking 15 to 20 minutes in the changing room and missing the start of warm-ups.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, no.
But
it's Super League, Jess. We say everything.
Yeah, fair. Okay, let's throw him under the bus. And, yeah. So maybe he starts, maybe he doesn't. We'll have to see. You know, Carol was talking about the flexibility of the team and the fact that they have players that can play in multiple positions, and they have, the depth to change things up. So the fact that, if he doesn't start, is it actually going to make a big difference to this Malory squad? Probably not, because they'll be prepared for that.
Yeah, and obviously some of the Malory women have made the short trip as well to what can be a really intimidating home atmosphere that London Giants have built, and they're a club that continue to grow. They continue to look upwards in what they want. So how important is that for Malory to really settle in early and not let this crowd get into it?
I think that's massive, but you get it anytime that there's, a little bit of home court advantage. So, we can see some of the crowd has some drums, there's some megaphones out there, there's definitely some flags. It is intimidating, but as athletes, you have to do it. You have to be prepared for that. You have to be in your own mindset and be less worried about what else is happening in the venue, on the court, what the opponents are doing to an extent, and just focus on your own game.
And is there any thought about what happened in April if you're Malory? Obviously, getting eliminated in the Final Four in heartbreaking fashion, a 5-set thriller. Obviously, Malory weren't overly happy with a couple of things late in that game, but do you think there's any residue, or do you think this is a group that's managed to wipe the slate clean because there's so many changes to this roster?
I feel like they will have been able to wipe the slate clean, and I know as well, like Jefferson Williams, Carol Gordon, Ian LeGrand, all of them would have been hammering into them. The squads are different on both sides of the net. Everything is so different to what it was in April. It's a completely blank slate. Anything can happen today. All you can do is come out, do the best that you can do in today. Can you better the ball? Can you be a little bit smarter? Can you be a little bit more aggressive at times? And, react and be ready and be flexible, be agile. So, and I know for a fact, based on what Carol was saying, that this is exactly what she's expecting from the Eagles.
As instructions, it does look like that set of change has been kind of enforced. I think we're going to have announcements. The MC had just gone walkies, but it does look like Sona Yasha will get the start. We've not seen the starting 7, so it'll be a bit of a surprise. So our MC gets ready, and obviously our referees, Jess, William Pellegrini will take the chair for this one, along with Katerina Sipnova, experienced group, and obviously we saw Nick Heckford down there as well, just giving them a couple of bits of advice after the first game.
Yeah, which is exactly what you want to see, like especially at a venue and the level of competition that we're at. Everybody can take a little bit of feedback, can think about things, and maybe take that extra half a second to make a decision or show where the point's going to land, because it's fine. You'd rather wait a half a beat and know that the decision is correct. Nick Heckford's great at giving that sort of advice, so we'll see how it goes.
Indeed, as we get ready to welcome the teams onto court, there's the crowd filling in nicely. As we'll get the visitors for this game. Malory Eagles out first. As Olaf Matunsenjoks is introduced first, the middle, super experienced, big blocking as well, just 20 assisted blocks on the season. Number 18, Dylan Cohen. Number 5, Ben Kwame. Number 23, Zach Omashemi. As number 7, Sona Yasha, the Bulgarian, going to get a start. I'll dig into his story a little bit throughout the game. Number 1, Ian Chow is selected for the outside decision. I know that was one Jefferson Williams and the coaching staff were thinking about where to go on the second outside. And libero number 3, Felipe Rodriguez, going to face against some of his former teammates. Jess, important game in the libero spot for Malory.
I do apologize because I was giggling a bit and then looking at the London Giants mascot lined up with the Malory Eagles players, high-fiving all of the starting lineup.
Mihail Stubb gave him a bit of a hit on the head. I wonder if that was, what are you doing over there type thought.
Yeah, how dare you high-five with our opponents.
As the home team now get introduced, led out by our one-to-watch Hamza, who actually said hitting 564 on the season. He'll be joined by their captain, number 8, Griffin Feisler, or as the setter, number 19, Amadou Lay Sam, number 44, Dorian Point, number 17, the libero, Jesus Rodriguez, number 1, Danil Povarenko, number 2, through the middle, Vidas Adikus, the former IBB Polonia player. So as we said, teammates going against each other, Jess. This is a starting 7 that now Povarenko's back into lineup has kind of settled a little bit for Giants.
Yeah. If you haven't been able to make it down today, do think about making it out for a Super League match at some point, because you can sort of tell from the camera angle, but honestly, being on the court with these guys, this London Giants team is genuinely
big,
physically giant. They're huge.
Yeah, this is why they were stable, the favourites to go back-to-back. Obviously, they'll have a chance to do that here in Crystal Palace in April as the Super League Final Four returns to this historic venue before it gets a much required facelift. But that is in the works for next year if all goes to plan. As little bit of intricacies underway, and it'll be Sona Yasha, the Bulgarian, to start us. And we're underway in the Dynamik Men's Super League as Povarenko immediately gets the ball on the back line and hammers it past Felipe Rodriguez.
Yeah, exactly what you're expecting out of this starting lineup, as we see Ogachi make his way onto the court now that he is going to be the front court middle. Great start for Povarenko.
As Adikus finds Chow, and that's the weakness in Chow's game, Jess. Of the 3 outsides that Malory could have started, he's probably the worst passer of the 3. So he gets targeted early and can't quite handle that one, as he takes a lot of room. So it's going to be a lot of movement for Sona Yasha to get round. But obviously, leaving on the serve helps, and yeah, Sona might as well stayed where he was as Chow rolls into the net, and Jefferson Williams takes a deep side breath. It's not how you want to start.
Yeah, not exactly the start that they would have wanted. I don't think they'll wait too long to make changes. You know, they talk about the depth of their bench. They won't want to make a change so early in the set, now that they've made their selections, but they'll want to not lose momentum right here at the beginning.
This time much better, and Zach Omashemi gets his first swing, gets the touch off the block. It's a big block to go against size versus size, so we're going to see a lot of high hands.
Yeah, massive there from Omashemi.
As Chow back to serve. Sam has to go low. Griffin Feisler with a huge bump set, but Matters Senyoks with an absolute shutdown.
I mean, that is a rude.
And Jess, that's going to be making a contender for block of the season. 2 meters out, and that just going absolutely to the roof. As Griffin sets Hamza Ouchi, and this time over the top of the block.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about this before, going over the block, and you see it in action here. We're going to watch this again because it's beautiful. That serve probably doesn't put enough pressure on it, and then, yeah, just straight over the top of Machisenaks.
And Rodriguez, perfect pass. Omashembi on the right side, high hands. Feisler's going to be able to set it, but it's a free ball for Malory. Matasenox overset. And that's why you don't let the middle take the free ball, Jess Smith.
That is exactly why you don't let the middle take the free ball. You can see the libero's right behind them. Just shove him out of the way. It's the same as when the middle's in the way of the setter. You push him out of the way, make sure that there's a good pass. Make sure you can do something with that.
Kwame, lovely high ball, going to get it back and goes cross court and finds a really nice angle. Ben Kwame didn't have a good start to the season. Opening day against Newcastle was not good, but he's really bounced back. He's now hitting 270 on the season, 59th kill that one, and he's such a weapon.
Yeah, it's a great swing.
A little bit undersized, but similar to Tom Schudderman up in Essex, just so explosive of point. And a perfect side out by London Giants. Good luck blocking when Hamza Ouchi's in this type of form, and Malory are finding out in a hurry.
Yeah, and I mean, this set's not even really tight to the net. He's got loads of space. There's not a whole lot that Dylan Cohn can do about that particular swing.
As that one over the baseline from Amadou Sam. And Jess, was really big in the absence of Povarenko. But when he's come back in, Sam's actually really quieting down. And Milster was speaking to us in the week. It's a balance now. He's got people that he can move around, but how does he get everyone kind of going at the same time?
Yeah, and it's a difficult position for any team to be in because everybody wants all of their players firing at, optimal speeds at all times. You're never going to have everybody at 100% on a single day. It's always going to be a struggle. But how can you get, 90, 95% out of all of your players during a match? And that's 3 service errors in a row now.
Yeah, Zach Omoshemi went long and Hamza who actually went long, but that one wasn't long by much. It was better with the 3 misses. Made Malory think about it. As Ben Kwame into serve. He's struggled with his serve a little bit this year. This time finds Sam Poink. Block touch by Malory. They'll have control of the rally as Sono Yasha with the wrong set puts it over the net, and Giants don't need any invitation.
Yeah, Pioverin goes like, that's a great set for me. I will.
Yeah, correct.
It was beautiful.
That's a very good point. It was a perfect set for the wrong team.
Yep.
So Danil Povarenko steps onto the line. Foot fault called for by Malory, given by the line judge, and then our first referee, William Pellegrini, all in agreement.
I think the first referee called it before the line judge actually signaled for it, but it was at least half of his foot was on the court.
Yeah, it wasn't subtle.
No.
So Dylan Cohen back, big serve. Rodriguez hands it well, back set. Povarenko goes tip, but Atticus able to get there. Malory out of system, another tight set, and Chow hits into the net. Griffin Weisler and Atticus were there to line it up, but Chow pulls down, and Ian Chow's not had a good start to this game.
Yeah, serve reception error, hit another ball into the net, and then this one straight into the net as well. It's not the best start for him. Really tough. We talked about the difficulty with playing in such a big venue with a crowd that's against you, as it were. So there's a lot of pressure. Oh, that's great coverage by Kwame.
As Yasha thought about the jump set, and this time Feisler with the block. Chow made the adjustment, but he didn't get the accuracy. Way into the hands of the American setter, and there's the change. No surprise, 16 points in, and Malory go to the bench with Ryan Dixon, who missed the first part of the season, missed the first few games coming in, but another veteran, really experienced player, former champion with Durham Palatinate. As Poink to Rodriguez, perfect set right on the tape, and Dixon goes to the little roll. Tip over the top of the block. Povarenko can't quite track it down, and a big start for Ryan Dixon, who's just got 11 kills, but only on 20 swings, just so efficient.
Yeah, really high efficiency, but such smart use. This is where the height of London Giants might be a disadvantage, is just to make them struggle a bit more on that defensive standpoint.
As Sam into the block, recycled. Malory go with the double. Zach Omoshemi wanted to try and make it a triple, and I think eventually, it was Matusenok stepping onto the line, but Zach Omoshemi got a little bit lost there, couldn't quite set the triple, and Malory give a 3-point away, and these are so valuable in this game.
Yeah, they need to take advantage when there's an out-of-system set, and they've got a little bit more time to get that block fully formed.
As serve goes down the line, Dixon gets it back, hits the antenna.
Yeah, that's a tough ball. He'll be pleased with the swing that he got out of that one. I think it was just a little too tight through the antenna. We'll have a timeout here from Malory.
So 12-7 the Giants lead, and it's kind of more, it feels like more on Malory right now. High error rate, 4 errors, plus obviously the service reception error as well. A couple of bad passes from Chow. They've made that mistake, but Giants just need, if they can fix the serves, they'll be really efficient. That's 3 of 7 Malory's points have come unearned off the service line. And Giants making a strong start at home, and this first set was so important in this match.
Yeah, really, really important for them. A couple of those errors for Malory, just giving free points away to Giants at points that they really didn't need to. So how do they adapt now?
As Omashembi puts it into the net. He got the late call of 2, but that ball not going over the net tape. No argument from Zach.
I really thought that actually touched the block. I thought it just like kind of rolled and touched. But until we get Hawkeye, we're going to struggle to find out for sure.
As Kwame Omashembi. Kwame, that probably would have been illegal 6 months ago, not any longer, as Matu Senox wins the joust with Feisler. Dylan Cohen showing some love.
Yep, and this is really good heads-up play from Matu Senox, but I'm just going to comment about that set, because this is the type of thing, it would have ended the point last year, but you can see clearly Malory never got an advantage out of that, so why would the point end? The new rule is quite good.
As Dixon misses on his first serve.
Yeah, a couple of service errors coming at points that Malory could have done with at least keeping the ball in play. Giants just trying to confirm who their next server is.
And it is the setup. As Jefferson Williams is wanting the time delay, probably right this early in the game.
Yeah, they did.
Nick Heckford over there scribbling away as well.
Yeah. They did
As
wait.
Feisler, great serve though. And Ben Kwame goes line. Rodriguez has to play it, but there's no setup with Yashasova out of court. And Malory miscommunication.
That was such a great reaction from Rodriguez. Massive up, but, just nobody on his team able to keep that ball in play. Great swing from Kwame on that ball.
And it's suddenly a 7-point lead for Giants as Rodriguez has to set the ball. Kwame over into the triple. This time double block and tries to go for the tip. And misses the right arm of Povarenko. And John Martinez coming in for Sona Yasha. So John Martinez, who managed to get himself put on the bench, now gets a chance with an 8-point deficit just to settle into this game.
Yeah, I do like that they started without him. It makes sense. He was late for warm-up. Don't start him. Great. But, at the end of the day, you've got to do what's best for the team. And if that is changing it back to Martinez, then that's what they need to do.
Single block for Povarenko to go over Kwame, but dug up by Malory. Again, Giants having control. Little roll shot, well picked up by Rodriguez. Lovely back set. Omashembi can't find the floor, but Rodriguez does find the advertising board. And a big one for Zach Omashembi just to get him settled a little bit.
Yeah, really good, because he hasn't had a lot of sets. I mean, Rodriguez has come in and already set him, 2 or 3 times. And he's had one out of system set. So, to see him get involved is great, and they'll be looking to try and get him really firing as this match wears on.
As that one over the baseline.
Always a bit frustrating when your serving substitution doesn't quite go to plan, but I think, we've talked about this before. A serve that's a bit long is better than a serve that's into the net.
As Sam back to serve, this time just avoids the line, as Kwame has to just give up the free ball.
But takes the setter out of the play.
And a lovely jump set from the libero. Gets his opposite, really aggressive decision just inside the free middle line, and Malory not able to squeeze the block angle out.
Yeah, Jefferson Williams just telling his guys they're too far towards the pin on that particular set. Just change that angle.
So Sam Dixon, that's going to be over. And Uauchi nearly gets dug up by Rodriguez. That was great instincts to stick her left arm out, but good luck trying to control that ball. That was hit so hard.
It was. I mean, potentially a chance to play it out of the net, but really brave from Rodriguez there to try and dig that ball. because that's got some fire behind it.
Another big topspin serve, this time handled by Kwame. Martinez, I think, tried to set Cohen up, went over, and it was a bit of a scrappy at the net, but Malory have no offensive flow as point dug up, and Omoshemi not getting to that one.
Yeah.
And this is an absolute rout in set number 1, as Jefferson Williams uses the timeout to talk it over.
Yeah, 2 timeouts now taken by Jefferson Williams. Unsurprising considering the score line, 20-9.
So 8 of the last 10 points since the first timeout. The changes haven't worked. There's the service pressure from Giants is really scrambling for Malory, and then that size advantage is really starting to pay off, and it's just an absolute error fest if you're Malory Eagles.
Seven errors in the last
12 points, give or take?
12 points, give or take, yeah, from Malory. So those are 2 service errors and then 5 other errors. Really massive. That they need to clean up the game right now. But the height that Giants have at the net and the amount of force that they're putting behind those balls, really pushing the defense on the Malory side.
As Kwame with the pass gets it back, Point with the dig, and this time gets the hand of Dylan Cohen on the way out, so another point for the London Giants.
Yeah, and we saw this from Point last year as well. You know, he's a really solid player. He has really incredible court vision. He's got a lot of experience, and he knows how to tool just off the edge of the hands of the block to put the ball down.
As over the baseline, this time from Sam, but a big service run, 4 points, well, 5 points in a row, 4 on serve for Giants, and Malory finally get to double digits, but the score is 21-10. As Griffin to Hamza, that one over the advertising boards off one bounce, and again the leading hitter in the Super League, just absolutely destroying the volleyball.
And nutmegs Omoshemi in the process.
Oh, I think that was wide of his left foot.
It was perfect.
No, I think it went wide. Nice try, but not quite.
Maybe somebody in the YouTube comments will tell us.
Martinez, Kwame into the shoulder of Sam. And that's probably the one bright spot, Ben Kwame, for Malory in this set. He's had some bright moments. He's changed the tempo up a couple of times as well.
Impressive there from Martinez to not be in the net on that set. Really, really good stuff. But you're right, Kwame coming in with an incredible number of shots already. Overpass.
As Dixon can't convert on the overpass. Povarenko into the hands. Cohen wanted to be there. Kwame in the pipe, pulls it. The set a little bit too low from Martinez. Not a lot Ben Kwame could do on that one. That's more of a setting error than a hitting error, even if Kwame will be given the fault.
Yeah, Dixon will probably be disappointed as well that he didn't put that overpass away. Just went a little too soft and a little too easy for Povarenko to pick that ball up. And Cohen puts that ball just wide. Bit of an awkward one.
As Povarenko with another foot fault. That's an area to fix.
I mean,
there's not been a lot wrong with London Giants in set 1, but the serving errors / foot faults, definitely something to work on.
I was watching them during the serving warm-up, and quite a number of the players were doing foot faults as well. So
yeah,
it's
Sam
not as though there's not enough space.
Sam was close on a couple.
Mm.
As Cohen clips the net tape and can't quite get to the tip by Atticus. And London Giants, Jess Smith, make an absolute statement. They take the Malory Eagles to the cleaners. 25-12, they take set number 1.
Yeah, huge statement performance from them in this opening set. What a turnaround from their performance at opening weekend. They really look like they're playing as a team. They've got, you know, really good defensive setup. They're closing the block really effectively, making it really difficult for the offensive actions from this Malory Eagles side. But it's the errors for me for Malory.
He's just said 12 errors in the set for Malory, 9 hitting errors, 3 service errors. So half of London Giants' points just been given to them. And as for Giants, similar story, 5 service errors on 12 points. As Hamza Urachi leading the way with 4 points, Povarenko with 3. But Malory just looked almost a little bit scared, Jess. Giants came out, made a couple of efficient swings early, and then Malory just never responded.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, you look at the stats so far, your top scorers are pretty much all Giants players. So you've only got 2 players with 2 kills each. You've got Kwame and you've got Omashebe. So Malory needed to figure out a way in this second set to come out firing and get the ball down. So, the service reception, I think, was really good in that first set.
As we see Carol Gordon there, the England women's head coach, leading the huddle. Jefferson Williams huddled with Andrew Onoshembi and Ian Legrand, looking at what to do. That lineup card still not quite in, and now it is. So interesting, and we know for Giants, it's pretty easy team talk if you're Mihail Stoev, more of the same.
Yeah, keep it clean. I mean, the fact that they had no errors outside of those service errors is really impressive stuff. So they'll be looking to capitalize on that.
So Jefferson Williams now having those instructions. Just talking about reach and probably timing of the block. Jefferson Williams very much on block timing.
No surprise that there's no change to the starting lineup for London Giants. On the Malory side, it looks like we're going to start with the lineup that we ended with in set number 1.
As Malory going with Rodriguez, Kwame, Omashembi, Dixon, Matusenioks and Martinez. As Dorian Point gets us underway with a service error. And Jess Smith's going to take a quick break as we bring in a very special guest to the commentary booth. Someone that was here just a couple of weeks ago for King and Queen of the Court, ended up with a bronze medal. What's it like to be back? Just no sand this time.
I'm here most days anyway, training and in the gym, but it's great to be back in the space where, we had a big result at home in front of all the home crowds. So wonderful to be back.
Yeah, and we'll also talk about that a little bit, but what have you seen early on from this London Giants team? Obviously defending champions, top of the table clash. How big a statement is it for the rest of the league to take set 1 so convincingly?
Honestly, I mean, the Giants team have just been firing. It looks like they're in complete control, service pressure, kind of getting Malory in all sorts of trouble, and then seeming like they can't really get the ball to their pin hitters or middles much because of the passing. But it's been impressive. I've heard some good stuff about the Giants team, so it's good to see it up close and personal.
Yeah, as Matusenioks makes the adjustment there. Mihail Stoev wanting something, and player coaching.
I had my fair share of games against Mihail when I studied at Bournemouth University and played at Wessex. So it's nice to see him still involved here as well.
As Dixon goes with the serve, great pass, and Hamza Urachi, great touch by Zach Omashemi, but couldn't quite get it. And
that middle is something. That middle, Hamza for Giants, physical specimen on the courts. it's exciting to see, honestly.
And obviously you don't spend too much time at the net, but when you get caught there, what's the blocking mentality when you're going up against someone that's, he's got a good 5-6 inches on you occasionally?
I mean, for me, the biggest thing is just about how I can be a bit deceptive with my timing, but also, how I can kind of get out of their vision. So they almost feel like, oh, he's not there, and then I try and take the space late if I am at the net. Me and Freddie, we have a pretty high success rate of winning points when I do find myself blocking.
As Joe Martinez finds Zach Omashemi now.
There we go.
Zach goes down the line. Obviously, being a London boy, you've seen Zach around a lot. How nice is it to have him back in the country, though, because he's been abroad for so long?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I know him, his family as well, and honestly, talented player. So it's great to see him playing here at home again.
So Matasenox tries the topspin, can't get it to go. And
kind of a story of the first set a bit,
errors.
Malory, just errors, service errors, setting errors, passing errors. It's just been, if they can turn it around, I think they can make this a much tighter affair.
Well, it was 12 errors in set one, so your eyes were not deceiving it as Sam goes into the net. But since we've got you, we'll talk about what happened a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, king and queen of the court here at Crystal Palace. Hopefully a lot of you watched the action. Obviously, you and Freddie coming out with a bronze medal, and just talk about how big it is to have beach volleyball events in the UK. And obviously you do a lot of travel during the summer, but how nice was it to be home for 10 days off the back of the World Championship as Dorian Point and nails one down the line?
No, unreal swing down the line there, unbelievable. But yeah, no defense for that.
Right foot, maybe?
Maybe, if you're lucky.
When's Ben McHardy and his bicycle kick when you need it?
Oh my gosh, that was honestly the highlight of King Queen on the court. That was an unbelievable play from him. That was exciting to see. I know a lot of people went quite crazy.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't seen that is on King and Queen of the Court socials. There's a point in the qualifier. It was a long rally. Ewan Fraser ran round the net to make a diving save, and the ball got tipped off the block, and the ball was touched twice, and Ben McHardy had no option, was a metre behind the baseline, and pulled out a kick that the Scottish World Cup team would be proud of.
Yeah, especially off the back of, who was it for Scotland? I think somebody that earlier that week scored a bicycle kick for Scotland as well. Yes, McTominay, Scott McTominay, yeah. Unbelievable. So for him to pull that out about a week later, it's just written in the stars for Scotland in that moment.
As it is 6-5 to London Giants. Povarenko this time manages to stay behind the line, but the serve goes over the other baseline.
This is the story of the men's game, though. It's you've got to serve with enough pressure. Yeah. If you send a free ball in, it's going to give them all that rhythm. You just don't really want them building any rhythm. You want to keep the pressure high on them.
And that's obviously the advantage of King Queen of the Court, that as Dylan Cohen aces Amadou Sam, but the first 14 minutes of each game, there's no serving error points. Obviously you can't get a chance to get to the Forsaken King side, but how much of a balance is that? You can put a little bit more on it because it doesn't cost you a lot outside of maybe 40 seconds of game time. No, exactly. I mean, if you make 3 in a row, then you get a point, but definitely it's very much teams are hitting their serve as hard as they can, knowing that if an ace will send them over, a missed serve won't really do anything for anyone. So as we see a lot of tips, fake jump set as well, straight out the beach play, but Dorian Point pulls that one through. A little bit scrappy, and Malory still just trying to find some rhythm. Obviously Joe Martinez came into set one late as well. As Dorian Point, the experience, one of the 2 players from this Giants team that won the championship last year, as Kwame goes down the line, gets a round of applause from Jess Smith. And Ben Kwame continuing his fine form. But just talk about how important this 3rd place was for you as a pair, because obviously it's back end of the season. I know you flew back out and had another couple of tournaments, and the beach season never quite stops because you can just leave the northern hemisphere and head south. But how much momentum and confidence does that give you going into the next beach cycle, that you're starting to pull out some results against some of the best pairs in the world? Yeah, I mean, honestly, really, really big for us there. To be able to play at home, over 1,000, 1,200 people here selling out the arena, bringing all the energy for us to also keep it going. But then, 2 days later, we fly to Brazil for an Elite 16 event, make a main draw and a big result there.
So like, you know, we're excited for next year to really push on and really push towards that Olympic qualification period.
As Zach Omashemi absolutely catches that one on the cross court. We'll have a look at that one. He's a
man. Great ball, and just high into the steepest part of the angle. Just beautiful. I mean, him linked with, imagine the likes of like Nathan still being in this team. The physicality they would bring would be crazy.
As Feisler sets up for Hamza Ouachi, who just hangs in the air, lets the ball come in, doesn't need to hammer it home, just finds the gap in the defense because they're all expecting that hard-hitting swing from the right arm of the Moroccan. As the left-handed setter.
There we go, great pass. Ooh.
As a miscommunication, that's going to go over into the block, and I think that came off Povarenko. Indeed, it did. Nice sell.
Yeah, he tried. You have to. You got to cheer it as hard as you can. Hope that the ref bites onto it.
And obviously, I caught up with you after King and Queen of the Court. You said you got some time off, and as you said, instead plans changed quickly. Quick flight to Brazil. So obviously a big moment to get the Elite 16 call-up. It's obviously the timing helped a little bit off the back of the World Championships, but how much fun was that to head out there at short notice and just go out with nothing to lose in a big event?
Yeah, I mean, from our side, you know, we knew that was a very good opportunity for us. We knew that for sure it would be us testing ourselves against some more top teams, even a couple of teams that were here in Crystal Palace as well. And then from there, kind of just looked at how we can continue to better our game, ready for next season. So, very, very exciting time.
And that must be important for you to see some of the best players to really just reset a mind. Obviously, you've got a great coaching team as well, but just to look at, okay, against this next level up, this is where we struggle, this is what we need to go away and work on.
Yes, no, definitely. I think we saw that, but also there was a lot of good results. Like, you know, we had a very good win against a strong German team. So also understanding that, like, off the back of what we've been working on, seeing it come forwards, and then hoping after a good off season, taking that into next season.
As Kwame gets absolutely roofed by the Giants block. It's the biggest block in the league to go against.
Yeah, tough. I mean, it's a sharp angle. It's a sharp angle there for Benny to hit from, but you know, you're hoping that he can do something a bit better there, use the top of the hands maybe, but he's been put in a tough situation with a big block.
Or just hope the ball doesn't go in off the block.
Yeah.
As that one not in from Amadou Sam on. That's his fourth service error of the set for the Giants, and their struggling service woes continue.
But this is a game that, you know, now it's getting a bit tighter. This is where I thought I would see Malory and the Giants kind of in these moments, seeing how they match up now.
Omashemi returns the service error.
Not the greatest toss there. I think it's a little too far in front of him. Still tried to go put his arm through the ball, but I think even now he's just signaling he needed to put a bit more wrist on top of that, just snap it in.
Yeah, and Zach Omashemi coming into this game with just a 37% success rate on the serve, as Hamza Ouachi returns it, and instead we're just having 3 points given left, right and centre.
Hey, like we said, you know, before, it's all about service pressure. That's the name of the game, but you know, you also got to figure out when you're trying to put a team out of system, just maybe hitting the lines. As
Kwame, top of the net tape, well handled by Rodriguez. Sam from the back court and gets the touch. As said, Malory couldn't quite track it down. Felipe Rodriguez wanting a towel just to tidy it up. And Amadou Sam did a really good job. That was tight to that 3 meter line as well on the serve.
Hey, one thing I'm really impressed with is, especially with Giants, like looking at them, I know they're very confident, but seeing the vibes constantly throughout the game, even when they're losing points, you see like the players are still joking, chatting with each other, like they're keeping that spirit high. It's going to be interesting to see how serious it gets when it's towards the end of the set, if they start to lock in a bit more, or if they're going to keep the joking and chatting going on throughout. So
Povarenko this time floats serve, makes it shorts in. Cohen gets the early call of 2, but can't find the hands and misses the back corner that he was trying to pin the ball into. And Giants from a couple of points down find 3, and they now have the 14-13 lead in a much tighter first set. Those of you joining us a little bit late, it was 25-12 in set number 1 as Dixon gets crossed upon the serve.
Passing errors coming in again. Crucial time where maybe Giants smell blood a bit to try and open up a bit of a lead here against Malory.
As Jefferson Williams looks to the bench, just wants to check something over with the coaching staff of Carol Gordon, Andrew Omoshemi and Ian Legrand.
Great pass.
As Martinez back set, Omoshemi!
Okay, big Zach, here we go. I still think you can set him a little bit higher. He's a big boy. It looks like he's not taken it at his highest point yet.
Yeah, and that's maybe the adjustments. You see that again, perfectly placed.
Attack right in the corner.
You do need to set, as much as they're similar, Nathan and Zach do have a slightly different style that they want from the ball. So
yeah,
Joel Martinez trying to do it as Dylan Cohen gets caught by the line monster.
Oh no.
What is it? And I think it's always this left-hand side too. There's something going on, and you can't blame the sun.
Yeah, there's been a lot of foot faults down this end over here. I don't know. Maybe it's the depth perception. Who knows?
As Rodriguez Martinez checks to get cheeky, but well read. Sam Kwame.
Go on, get up.
And there's a net touch by Atticus. Not
ref.
called.
Nobody's seeing that? Okay, the ball doesn't lie. That ball is out. There was a big net touch that was not called there. Oh, man.
What net touch?
These moments, I see red sometimes. I can't lie to you. I've had a few words with referees.
Don't worry, you're better than Alex Chinnery.
I'm guessing he's had some bad moments with referees.
Let's just say last time we were in Crystal Palace, it was entertaining as a rotation error. Porovenko in the ahead of Dorian Poink. And that is not where you're meant to stand. Yeah,
but kind of a basic error in today's game. So,
well, also complicate the fact that you can stand where you want on serve now, the joys of
also
the new rules. As Porovenko gets a chance to make amends, but instead puts it into the net. He screams in frustration. That's really good leadership by Rodriguez.
Yeah.
A couple of errors in a row, and he just has a little word with the youngster just to calm him down.
No, I mean, one of the things, I learned from, I had the pleasure of being coached by Aidan Turton, Australian libero at the Olympics in 2012. And, his biggest thing was, as a libero, you have to be the second captain on the court. You have to be the hype person, but also know when to manage everyone. So that's great leadership there from the lib. Oh, Zach.
Omoshemi makes no mistake.
Okay, so I think he's starting to just go OT now. They're starting to find the right height for him, and it looks like he's just going over the top of every blocker. I mean, look at this replay, honestly. Great ball, high. Oh, man. Textbook swing, deep corner. I know one Brazilian, Murillo, used to do that a lot. High, deep corner, somewhere that nobody can touch. Outrageous.
Indeed, and for Giants, this is the inconsistency we've had. I know you're not ready to catch up with it a lot, but we've noticed on the podcast every week that they're just very up and down. Obviously, it's still you look at experience, yes, but you've also got a brand new group, so sometimes that mesh point takes a little bit longer in pressure moments.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the change up in the roster, it takes time. You kind of look at it, maybe after Christmas is when players start to mesh, and then you start to really find a rhythm. So it's going to be interesting to see in these big moments now how the team reacts, how the team starts to fight from that situation.
Indeed. So Malory, 16-18 lead in set 2 of his top of the table clash in the Dynamik Men's Super League. Bragging rights at Christmas for stake.
Definitely.
As Sam nearly avoids front court.
Here we go, free ball. Our set is out.
Malory not quite perfect on the first touch. Omoshemi goes to the goal. And Feisler couldn't quite get his hand under it. Good attempt at the pancake.
This is so smart from Zach, though. A few swings, staying high, hitting into the deep corner, then drops in a little roll shot short into the middle of the court, keeping the defense on their toes constantly.
As you see the Malory bench there, giving encouragement. This will be a big set to equalise this game. As
that's down.
Griffin goes over onto the lefty in the front row, and got to be ever so careful with him. It's so aggressive.
And brings back in their big middle as well now, their star player. It's going to be interesting to see how much of an impact he can have at the net here, because I think Malory are going to look to use Zach a lot. So we'll see how that goes on that far side.
It's a monster front row.
Yeah. You can't miss
there's a quick one, middle serving, not opting for the service sub with Atticus. And he fires it over the baseline.
In that situation, though, I know you want to put service pressure in, but you've got a huge front row. Average height probably 6'6" on that front row, minimum. Maybe a bit higher, 6'6", 6'7", yeah. But you never know. You just never know. You got to let him play. Good touch.
As Hamza doesn't find the floor. Zach Omoshemi doesn't as well, but Rodriguez runs out of real estate.
Hey, Zach is heating up here. Zach is heating up. Look at the Malory bench go. Here we go. They're loving it. They're loving it. I was talking to Jefferson just a little bit before the game, catching up, and hearing from him. Obviously, they're missing Nathan Fullerton right now. They're missing one of their key middles and their captain.
Yeah, Logan's
this
gone.
is going to be a big. This is kind of a big moment to kind of step up and say, look, even without our strongest squad, you still have to get through us here in this situation.
Do you need to give a map to Ryan Dixon of where the beach volleyball court is compared to the indoor Terraflex? Because he was trying to aim at your beach court with how long that was.
Yeah, that was. I think it's the bad contact. I'm hoping he'll find it as the game goes on.
As
Great
Griffin
serve.
Feisler with a monster cross-court serve, that was going in. But again, that was ever so tight to a foot fault.
Yeah. I mean, I've been impressed with his serving as well, being able to change up on that far side, the kind of like the hybrid top spin and the float. It's been quite a weapon of a serve when I've seen it.
Question is, can you repeat it? You need a couple of more break points,
That's a free ball.
which Kwame
there
puts
we go.
down.
It was a free ball. I'm sorry. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I've seen him serve. When you pop that free ball in on a libero, come on now. That's like your coach hitting you in the warm-up lines.
As Malory go with the serving serve, Jared Ulrich.
Oh, I've seen him come on twice now, and he's missed both serves. This is not ideal, not ideal. Coming on as a serving sub, not having a good day. Even Jefferson's telling him right now, you got to think we brought you on to hit a location. He's just got to do that and then give themselves an opportunity on block defense.
As Amadou Sam Kwame Martinez scrambling a little bit, but it's a great high set.
What a set.
And Zach
Great
Amashemi goes right over the top of Hamza Ouchi.
I'm telling you, keep going to the hot hand. He's back row now, but keep going to the hot hand.
And
What a
Malory
set
gonna
from 4-2. Jeez.
go
unbelievable.
big on defense. They're gonna put in
They put in a blocking sub. Here we go. Right,
big.
Zach just needs to put the ball in here, give themselves an opportunity on block D. Another missed
Nope.
serve. Look at Jefferson, his reaction
And
as
Jefferson
well.
Williams like, no, reverse the sub. Obviously, middle blocker for Setter, always the way to go. But either before you go, I've heard a rumor.
A rumor. What's this rumor?
Any truth to the fact that you might be playing indoors next month? Deep dish, Crystal Palace in the Shield still. I've heard something on the grapevine. It might be an option.
Well, I will tell you, I think it was October or November. I did play in one of the rounds of the Shield, came on for about a set and a half, which was good fun. But maybe next month, let's see. I hope our beach coaches don't hear me saying this.
Cohen,
That's
well
a lift.
scrambled.
Ooh, okay.
Gets a little bit lifty, but referee's happy.
Benny.
And Kwame goes down the line and hits the line.
Big swing,
Oh, no, in fact,
big swing.
Yeah, they did call it in the end.
Yeah, they did.
It depends on how much of a Christmas break you want. The next round of Shield, you've got a home game if you want it.
Yeah,
You're playing Watford. I think
know.
it's the 10th of January, though, so maybe you want a bit of time off. We'll see.
We'll see. I don't know if coming back for my first bit of volleyball to the indoors will be good for my body, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm in the gym now, hitting it pretty hard, so we got a nice few weeks of just working hard in the gym. How many missed serves is that now?
Of 3 set points for Malory, not converted. Kwame into net, and here comes a double sub. The
my
IBB
guy.
Bologna pair.
My guy, number 12, Andrea. Love seeing him play for Bologna now. Let's see how he's doing here at Giants.
So
much energy on the court.
Diego Tamburini to set up in to serve on the double sub, and that'll put Andrea Maggio into the front court. Obviously, the other rotation is Hamza, who actually is out, so no big blocking presence. Not that Atticus is.
Malory are going to be hoping they can side out here. Great pass in.
As Kadeem McCoy in as well.
Okay, way to
and
make
Dylan
it work.
Cohen goes cross court.
Left hand tip here into position 4. That was very nice. Very creative in the air there, trying to find a way to make it work. Yeah, as you can see here, great pass in. Set wasn't ideal, but he found a way to find that hole in that space.
Hey, that's proper beach skills. Set point, bringing out the offhand, finding a tight angle.
You got to do what you got to do sometimes, I love to say you can't just be used to using one hand. And even in training and warm-ups, we use our left hand, and you got to be ready for anything that comes at you, right?
Well, before we let you go, he's obviously congratulations on the great year, but if
Thank
fans
you.
want to follow what happens next year, what's the best way to follow your progress?
For sure, you can follow us on social media, Instagram. You know, you've got myself, Issa Betrain, Freddie, FB Alakoz, and then our team page, Beach Team BB. And then, you know, other than that, Volleyball England also do a great job sharing a lot of our stuff, and British Volleyball Federation as well. So you can find us on there. We're always going to be around. We're local boys here in Crystal Palace, so you'll always be able to see us down on the courts at some point.
Well, it depends where you are. We might see you back. You won't have heard this announcement yet, but we are back here for Final Four again this year. So depending on where you are, we might have you back. But appreciate you giving up your Sunday afternoon and joining us. And we'll go let you enjoy the rest of the game.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll bring Jess Smith back in to get her thoughts on set number 2. And Jess, way to respond if you're Malory Eagles.
I mean, that was everything we would have wanted. You know, we talked about the number of errors from Eagles in that first set, so 12 in total, so that was 9 hitting and other errors and 3 service errors. In set number 2, they did still have 10 errors. However, this time around, it was 2 non-service errors as opposed to 9 in set number 1. Cleaning things up in that way have just made a huge difference for them. They also turned it around quite well from a kills perspective, so they only had 5 in the first set. Set number 2, they turned it up a notch and pulled out 13 kills, and then, you know, threw in an ace into that mix and just came out just slightly on top. But this is more of the sort of battle that we would have expected to see. So set 1 was a bit surprising in terms of the overall result. Set number 2 looking a bit more like what we would have been expecting from both of these sides. So both teams about to be making their way back out onto the court for set number 3, and fully expecting this to be a absolute battle royale from now.
We'll head down and get some thoughts from Aliyah Raffat, who is courtside.
So we saw Malory clawing back point for point in that last set, but the Giants were not going to let that one go easy. Both teams are definitely struggling on the service consistency, but an overall way more competitive set than the first, for sure. They're definitely using Zach's height in that second set. They're normalizing. They see the opposition on the other side, and they are trying to match it as best as they can without Nathan, and I think they're doing a good job of that. But we're going to go into the third set and try to go as competitive as the last one.
They're the thoughts of our courtside reporter Aliyah Raffat. The Malory Eagles outside helping us out with getting some thoughts. Set 3 underway. Povarenko blocked, and they're going to call a lift on the dig as Povarenko got it sent straight back to him.
Yeah, interesting that it's been this long, and that's our first call of a lift. There's been a couple that have looked fairly similar to that particular play, but good to see that the referees are watching, and Rodriguez there a little bit disappointed with himself. Smart serve, didn't quite make it.
Yeah, this service error by Joel Martinez. As he has to scramble to get there. Omoshemi goes power, two-handed tip, well dug up by Povarenko. Kwame able to dig up the swing. And Omoshemi looking for hands, doesn't get it.
Yeah, clearly
round
going
of
for
applause, right idea.
Yeah, right idea. Moving a little bit back, he had overrun that ball for that out of system set, so a bit disappointed with himself, but he knows what kind of adjustments he can make. Really smart on that two-handed tip as well to try and take Povarenko at least out of the offense, if nothing else. Martinez having to scramble for that ball, and this time Omoshemi not making the same mistake and putting that one away emphatically.
Indeed, as Omoshemi, no mistake that time. Nearly a dramatic foot save by Dorian Poink.
Only a little into the stands this time.
As Dixon, who came off the bench early in set 1, and there's the middle, as who actually this time just drifted a little bit more towards the wing, a little more space on the set.
Yeah, and I think this is where You know, we were just talking about the service pressure and the service consistency, but taking too much off the ball gives your opponent too much of an advantage. That was effectively a free ball for Giants. Great pass.
Well, Martinez able to get there. Sam couldn't convert, but Kwame has to be a little bit timid. Long ball out. Omashemi's big hands get there. And Poverenko has to give up the free ball. Advantage Malory. And Matasenox can't put it down. And Omashemi wins the joust. Sam roars a frustrated approval out. And Malory have parked set one and now really just controlling tempo and making Giants earn points.
Which is exactly what we want to see at this level. This is the type of competition that we would have expected to see. And you can see Sam's frustration on that particular point. You know, his teammates weren't there backing him up. That serve looked like it was going to be long.
As Poverenko into the antenna.
Yeah, when you've got a two-handed push up there, when you're trying to get around a really tall block, because Omochebi's well up there, you've got to be really accurate with where you're putting it.
As Owachi Martinez tried to get there, but a little bit outstretched away from the left-hand side.
Yeah, we've seen, Dylan Cohen just showing the bench the attack is over the top of him, doing a little bit of a hand motion over the top of his head. But I've seen they've started to adjust. They're not as tight to the net on the block, and they're almost doing a soft block type of motion.
As Cohen gets the block.
Potentially off of the head of Oyachi there. Really smart play. Bit of frustration coming out of that one. He missed one the point before, and he says, right, I'm going to get mine back.
As Omashemi, wrong team to Poverenko. Good luck digging that one, Zach Omashemi. Dorian Poverenko absolutely nails this.
This is not the matchup that Malory want. Poverenko versus Kwame. That at the net is really tough, especially when Kwame's out there as a single blocker against the very tall opposite.
Yeah, Ben enjoys the block challenge, but that one's a little bit stretched as Rodriguez and Kwame leave it for each other. And a well-placed serve by Hamza. And it's a 6-5 London Giants lead.
Not the types of points that Malory will want to be giving away. Those too easy.
As another service error wrapped up. At least if you're going to do it, you do it after an ace.
Yes, yeah. You come in with a 50% service run. Could be worse. Got the drums going in the crowd as Kwame serves.
Omashemi waves off Martinez as Dixon tries to push it deep. Tight set. And that's a net touch, I think, by Dylan Cohen.
Central line violation.
Oh,
sorry.
central. Good call.
And that's on the setter trying to run up there to get to that ball. Just really struggling to keep himself out from under the net. Tough ball to get to without doing that.
As Kwame into the net, and we do have a result in the Mari Women's Super League. Essex Rebels 3-0 over Darkstar Derbyshire off the back end of a derby doubleheader. 25-13, 25-23 and 25-14. So as Alex Chinnery's side head to the break with a victory, having dropped a set in Derby a month ago. And you'll hear our reaction to that one on the Timeout podcast, which will come out on Wednesday as we give out some Christmas grades and tell you who's met expectations or not in the first half of the season. As point, block touch, that's going to go over. Feisler goes aggressive, another overpass though, and that one, it hits the back line. Good patience by Giants.
Yeah, really good for them. plenty of good awareness at the net to see a couple of overpass attacks. Great dig there from Dylan Cohen, but, you know, again, just sending it over, and then Kwame recovering, but not keeping it in control.
Rodriguez pushes Martinez wide of the court. Dixon into the block. And they're going to call 4 touches.
This is a tough one.
The second referee is shaking her head. She doesn't agree.
Interesting. So these are the ones that sometimes when you see them at regular speed, you're like, yeah, that was into the tape. But then if you are ever watching professional volleyball where they have the Hawkeye system, you'll see often that the ball is coming that fast that even though it hits the tape, it's still going to at least brush the arm of the block.
As Dixon handles it, gets it back. Great bump set by Rodriguez, but Giants able to control it. Griffin goes into the net, and that's got to be 4. There it is. Everyone was shouting 4, slight problem. Setter went on 2, therefore they were allowed a 3rd.
They were allowed a 3rd, but since the ball after the failed setter dub didn't go over, then it was indeed 4.
As the atmosphere that was electric in set 1 just died off a little bit with the Malory Eagles taking some momentum out. Point goes from the pipe, but the only pipe was the net in the way, not the Malory hands or the Tower Flex floor.
Interesting to see so many in such a short space of time going into the tape or into the net itself. You know, are they trying to run an offense that's too fast for their attackers? Both teams, I should say.
As Kwame calls off Dixon. Dixon's going to have to be a little bit aggressive on it. Tight set again. In fact, that may have been over. Indeed it was. Griffin Feisler, great athleticism, but that ball was over the net tape.
Completely agree. You can see his hands actually. We're not going to get a replay of this one, but if you saw it in real time or if you're watching on YouTube, you can go back. His hands are like behind him and well across the net tape when he plays that ball. And that leads to a timeout for Michal Stoev's team, which is probably not too surprising considering the start here, with Malory Eagles currently leading 11-9.
Yeah, and you wonder at what point does Michal Stoev go to this bench? You've got Dalton Bunn not yet playing. You've obviously got Kadeem McCoy's had a big impact as well. You've got the setting change maybe with Diego Tamburini. At what point do you pull the subs? Because this is all Malory momentum right now.
Yeah, and it might be that the next time Povarenko goes back to serve, that's when the double sub comes in, bring in Tamburini, give themselves an extra rotation with an extra few rotations, with a backcourt setter and a front court opposite, although at the moment Povarenko's in position 6, so it's going to be quite a number of rotations before we get there. But you're right, I think the question is, at what point do Giants feel that they really need to shore up that defense? Because I think that's when they'll bring in Bund.
As Martinez goes cross court, middle, and that one just long. Olaf Matusenok's read the middle ball. Ryan Dixon was there to help as well, but that one just drifting over the baseline.
Yeah, you can see that Malory have changed the block style just a little bit. I think more for Oyachi, but that time still hands too far back rather than pressing over, so putting that ball out long.
As Dixon beats the block of Salmon Oyachi, and that was the block we were talking about in the pregame. Giants haven't got that timing of that double block quite down, and there are some gaps in it, and that time Malory able to exploit.
Yeah, you could see Dixon, I think he was a bit frustrated about the last one that was called as 4 touches on his last attack from the outside, but clearly saw the gap in that block and took full advantage. Huge swing from him.
As net tape, Sam does well to deal with it. Omoshembi with the shutdown that is not in the court. If that had gone in, we may have left the building.
Yeah.
But Amadou Sam wins the point.
Did we not have one of those a few weeks ago?
We did at Super League Live in Essex, and Matt Edwards had an absolute monster roof as well that was a little bit wide. We somehow need a compilation of those great blocks that didn't count. Yeah. Zach Omoshemi into the block, recycled. Martinez having to scramble. Kwame is shut down.
Oh my.
I'm not sure which one got their hand to it, but Povarenko and Hamza Ouachi were combining on that one. Ouachi covered a lot of ground to get there, but it was a lovely high ball, and both of them were there.
I think Ouachi got that one. It's difficult to tell from the angle, but impressive ground coverage.
Short serve, and Matusenox on the 1-2-3.
That's a great use of a quite short serve, so it's going to have a fast pass coming at the setter, keeping it fast on the offense.
Just got a message from Aaliyah down on courtside saying the tension's definitely getting there. There's a lot of smack talk now going on, especially with all the blocking. So these two sides are not giving an inch on the court or off it.
Interesting.
And what we expect to see from the Men's Super League, these two sides having history of that Final Four last year.
Yeah, history there, history with Giants getting a bit fiery at times. So are we going to see something happen from that perspective as Sam misses another serve? I want to say in the last set he missed 2 or 3 serves, and I think a couple of them in a row. So he's really struggling to hit that service consistency today.
As Faisla Hamza on the quick ball. Dylan Cohen says he was close. I don't know how close you were, Dylan. You might have got a hand to it, but I don't know you're doing anything with it.
Yeah, he did get a hand or at least an arm to it, but it looked like, because it just came between him and the net. So I think same positioning, but a smidge closer to the net, and actually he had a pretty good roof over Oyachi for that particular ball.
Back set. Omashemi waits for the 3-meter line. Uauchi with the dig, but Sam and Point, let's just say, didn't want to take each other out.
I mean, I don't blame them, but I'm just going to say, big clap to Oyachi for that dig, because you don't get that from middles very often. That was a very hard-driven ball from Omashemi.
So, Kwame into the net, and if this was set 5, which maybe in an hour or so, Jess Smith, it might be, would be playing extra points.
Maybe.
But set 3, plenty of time to go.
Yep. Yeah, we still have to see what's going to happen with this set. And then we can start talking about maybe 5.
As Povorenko able to hammer down the ace, the Malory bench wanting the foot fault. McCoy and Bunn saying no, and Jefferson Williams going, we need to talk.
Yeah. This is probably more just to stop some momentum. So Povorenko's been struggling on the serve, so it might just be, can we get in his head a little bit, get him to miss his next serve? Jefferson might be going for a point of his own. But we'll see how this works out. Quick chat. It's mostly working okay from the Malory side. There's a couple of errors that they're letting to creep in. They've missed the last 2 serves that they've had. So they need to, again, get that consistency back, get those serves in, keep the ball in play, because they're doing a very good job defensively and even on service reception, and they're keeping themselves in the play despite the fact that Giants do have a really tall offense.
So Povorenko back on the service line. This time well behind the line. Dixon, great pass, gets it back, and that one hits long, but a touch was given.
Yeah, big shout
and
from the Eagles.
One of the Giants, I'm assuming Juniors, was getting clearly heckled from his friends in the stands. As Cohen finds Rodriguez, who's been quiet in this game. I haven't seen a lot of him as Povorenko goes power tip into the block, and they're going to call a center violation once again as he went under the net on the follow through. He's just checking, and he's like, no problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes players don't know they've done it, so great active, proactive refereeing.
Yeah, if you're not the captain, you're not supposed to be the one talking to the referees, but I think he was just asking for a little bit of clarification there, what exactly had gone on.
As Cohen goes into the net, reminder, Dylan Cohen into the lineup for Mal if you missed the pregame. Dylan Cohen's going to have a big role this year. Logan Clark done for the season for Mallory. He's headed back to work in the US. So congratulations to Logan. Obviously a big miss for Mallory, but Dylan Cohen is a more than capable replacement. We saw those two combined really well last year down the stretch as Dixon plays that early. Matusenox squeezes it through the block of Atticus, one-on-one.
Really smart play there.
Matusenox has been really quiet but really efficient.
He has, yeah. I think he saw that Atticus was not fully closed to the net, saw a bit of an opportunity towards position 4, and just went for hands down.
As Sam waits on it, Malory get the block touch, but Lay Sam with his 5th kill of the game.
Coach Jefferson Williams there just reminding Omashebe about his blocking position and using his arms to press over. Not sure if that one came off of his noggin a bit.
But Nick Heckford's in his book. Something happened. As overpass, what can Giants do? They try and go to the middle, but actually can't connect. Kwame from the pipe, no luck. And Sam again plays for the block. Touch, gets it. And it's a London Giants lead approaching the business end of the set. 19-18 the lead for the hosts.
Yeah, I think Sam's quite happy that in this particular service reception rotation, he's got Dixon across the net from him instead of Omashebe.
As Martinez fires it to Omashemi, and the block not quite there. Oh, no press on it at all.
Yeah.
And allowing it to come back down on the Giants side.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there with Feisler, because he started off quite close to the net, and then when he took his closing step, it's just like he came off, a couple of inches, and it just let that space come through for Omashebe to go down his front.
So Dixon, Sam, that's going to be tight. Feisler does a great job. Pancake by Rodriguez. And Matusenox plays for the recycle. Kwame has to go back on it. And Feisler gets the touch. That's a terrific piece of hitting. That was not a perfect set for Ben Kwame.
It was not, but it's that explosive nature that he's got, that he's able to just kind of take that closing step, turn his body and adjust and say, right, I can see where I can use the setter's hands. But overall, that was a really good defensive point for Malory.
As Dixon tries to change it up, goes heavy topspin, but not quite pulling it down in time.
Yeah, I think he was going for something that looked like it was going to go long, but then suddenly dropped right on the baseline. Didn't quite get the connection that he wanted.
So we're tied at 20. Net tape. Martinez has to go one hand. Omashemi.
Oh, that's excellent. That's a beautiful set from Martinez.
That's why he's been so vital for Malory. He's undersized. And if that was Griffin Feisler, that's so many options, but he just does what he needs to with it as a serving sub. Matusenox off. Jared Ulrich back in. Third time we've seen this service sub. Last time it was an error.
And the first time it was also an error. He hasn't actually made a serve yet.
So he's 0 of 2.
Yeah. Oh, he made the
Not
serve.
0 of 3.
Okay.
Back set. Sam is blocked by Kwame.
What?
Jefferson Williams,
And you can
two-handed celebration, and the Malory bench love it.
Excellent stuff.
Yes.
Wow, we have to watch that again because this is just too good. Kwame there, one-on-one block, boom, down. And that leads to a timeout from London Giants. No surprise there. They're going to have to pep themselves back up as they now see that they are at a 2-point disadvantage to the Malory Eagles following that absolute blowout of a first set. So it's only 2 points, and 2 points is what you need to close out a set, but anything can happen at this point.
Indeed. And Malory 3 points away from at least 1 point in the scorebook. You get a point for losing 3-2.
Yep. I think at this point they're going to be looking not just for 1 point, but at least for 2. And this could very easily go to 5 sets.
As Jared Ulrich to serve. Rodriguez, Feisler. Porenko has to wait on it and misses. And we'll hear from Aaliyah, who is listening into that London Giants timeout.
That we continue to have on both sides. Do you think the coaches are telling their team to either continue serving aggressive, or are you telling them to get it over and in no matter what? Especially in these 1919, 1920, 2020 moments. We're seeing a lot of either hesitation on the service line or it's just consistently missed serves.
As Uauchi, Kwame plays it, just about stayed legal. Omashemi goes to the roll shot.
Oh,
And Malory,
so smart from him. Massive there. I love the celebration from the Malory bench. Oh, this is excellent stuff. So we can see, oh, there's another change. We've got Bund coming in. Making his debut for the Giants here as the front court outside, just in front of Diego Tamburini.
so 4 set points for the Eagles. Povarenko, Omashemi turns it back away. Povarenko keeps the rally alive. Jared Ulrich with the stuff. Jefferson Williams hip checks Kwame, he's on the floor. Malory for the set. Cohen not quite on the block. Tight ball. Malory. Oh, that's over the net. That's over.
Oh.
Not called.
Referee
But
disagrees.
Ben Kwame took out Jefferson Williams.
Oh.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And Jeff's okay, which at Jeff's age is the most important thing. Got to look after the coach. Most valuable person.
I don't disagree with you, but also, how's he gonna feel about that comment when he watches this back?
Jeff likes me. I can get away with it.
So we've got Dalton Bund with his first serve for London Giants here.
So Dalton Bund against his former team, down 3 set points. Omashemi, hands, great touch by Rodriguez. That's going over. Cohen makes a mess of it, but wins the point. Tamburini can't quite make the dig. And the Malory Eagles, 21-25, take their second set in a row. And they have at least a point from this top of the table clash.
I mean, honestly, the turnaround here since set number 1 is so incredible. Really close on that particular set. So Malory with 2 blocks to London Giants 0 blocks in set number 3, which is shocking. But from a kills perspective, we're pretty even. So we had 11 for Giants, 12 for Malory. Giants with 2 aces. And then the errors, again, were reasonably close, but, you know, Malory cutting down those errors again. So non-service errors 2, service errors 6, so they had 8 total. However, on the Giants side, there were 11 errors in that third set. So there were 8 non-service errors. And that's bringing us up to a pretty hefty number of errors on both sides. But I think it's the timing of those errors that's making a difference. So Malory struggling kind of in the earlier parts of this particular set, where they had a few service errors in a row after struggling to get the ball back.
Yeah,
But
I think the one thing we probably wouldn't have expected is Malory coming in and more than doubling the block total of London Giants in the first 3 sets. Malory 5 blocks, Giants just 2. And I think that's a really credit to how good a job Malory hitters have done now of hitting around the block, playing a bit more for hands, and even if it means Giants end up with possession, it's not going to be turning into a block kill.
yeah, and I think that's where some of the errors from the Malory side are coming, because, you know, they are trying to hit around or over the block of London Giants. You know, they're going for high hands, trying to get a fingertip, which means that sometimes that their ball might go a bit long, but you can see the intent behind what they're doing. And on the Giant side, I don't think anything's not working. In particular, you know, Povarenko's made a few errors, certainly more errors than he did in that first set. But I think it's the service consistency from both teams right now where we're seeing such a massive difference. You know, do we keep the ball in no matter what, or do we have to keep pressure on the serve so that we're not just giving easy free balls away?
A longer huddle for Michal Stove. Those first 2 were really quick.
Yeah, he'll be talking to his guys about a couple of quick tweaks, things that he's seen from his position on the sideline, as the first referee has now blown the whistle for the teams to head back onto the courts.
Indeed, it's unsurprisingly easy choice for Jefferson Williams. No change for the Eagles. And Dalton Bund going to get the start in this set. Amadou and Diego Tamburini as setter, so big changes coming from the London Giants. So they're going with Tamburini setting. Point stays along with Dalton Bund as the outsides. Povarenko outside, Atticus and Uauchi down the middle as Diego Tamburini starts with the ace.
What a start for Tamburini to come in, put that ball on the outside arm of Dixon and be rewarded with the ace.
As Kwame Martinez, Dixon has to go. That was a run middle play from Matusenox that didn't connect. As Povarenko gets Kwame, he was right on the baseline. Omashemi goes at Dalton Bund and wins the point.
Great swing from him. You know, Carol talked about having him as the replacement for Nathan today, and you know, having that big opposite, somebody with a lot of experience both in the UK and internationally, is clearly paying dividends.
15 kills now for Zach Omashemi as Povarenko. Martinez gets it over, but Atticus goes early on one and finds the gap. But great scramble by Joel Martinez to keep the point alive.
Yeah, really great scramble by him. I don't think he meant to put that over the net because he looked like he was trying to scoop it back towards his teammates, but, you know, great heads-up play.
Yes. Jefferson Williams is talking to the Malory team about keeping the pressure stuff. Little things like that will do it as Rodriguez with a ridiculous one-handed pickup, and Dorian Point wins the point. But that all comes from the defense of Jesus Rodriguez.
Incredible one-arm dig from him there. And a huge, like, really high set from Otakast for that out-of-system play, but Point coming in with the tightest of tight angles to put that ball down.
Probably deserves a full name after that, rather than just Rodriguez, as that one from Omashemi beats Bund. Jesus Izagiri Rodriguez, as his Izagiri's on the back of his shirt, probably prompted me to remind him. But he's done a terrific job since he joined London Giants in February last year, obviously helping this team to the championship in a 5-set thriller over the Essex Rebels. Back-to-back 5-setters as Dalton Bund, Matusenox, and gets in the way of his libero Rodriguez, and Malory get punished as that one rolls off the net tape.
That was a great dig from Dalton Bund, stepping up for his team. And I think this type of play is where we kind of miss having Nathan on the court. You know, I'm not saying for sure that Nathan would have gotten that ball up. I think he's a little bit more ready to move at times than Omashemi seems to be. So he might have been able to make a play on that ball.
Crowd well into this game. Omashemi!
Great swing again.
Another kill. And maybe the question for Jefferson Williams is going to be, how do you get both of Zach Omashemi and Nathan Fullerton onto court? Because how do you bench your club captain, but how do you bench Zach Omashemi when he's in this form?
Yeah, really tough to say. And it might be that, you know, maybe Nathan Fullerton's about to have a positional change.
Kwame gets the block, but not as big a block as Dylan Cohen. He presses home on that one. With a smile to my right. That is straight on the camera of JC to our right. Not on your replay screens, but we don't mind because that is hitting VE socials anytime on Monday morning.
What a roof.
Maybe even tonight. As Point, Tamburini, Uauchi is blocked. Zach Omashemi coming, and Malory right now are in a block party.
What a moment for Malory Eagles. Huge for them. A little bit of a change of the starting rotation. Really good lineup between Uauchi and Omashemi there for Malory.
Povarenko to reply, does so. No third block in a row for the Eagles.
This is great from Povarenko. So he's had 2 kills in a row as far as the earned points for his squad. A little bit of a change following some of the errors that he's had in the previous set. I'm sure that Stoev will be very pleased to have his opposite back running at full capacity.
And obviously there is a change he could make if he needs another one, and that's subbing himself on, as Povarenko goes way long. At least this time it wasn't on the line.
Well, is a foot fault or
Ah,
a
true.
serve that's almost in
Well,
the
I
advertising
suppose
boards?
technically the defense can at least potentially think about playing a long serve. Can't think about playing a foot fault.
True.
As Zach Omoshemi, who's found his rhythm,
Oh.
found his rhythm offensively. He hasn't found his rhythm from the service line. The errors continue to mount up.
Clearly it's the commentator's curse, because I was just talking about Povarenko not having as many errors, service error. You were talking about Omoshemi, service error.
As Martinez with a terrific set for Kwame. That looked like all the way that was going to Dylan Cohen.
That was
But that ball just continued to accelerate, and Kwame played for the touch.
That's an incredible set. I mean, he's like way back in position one, pushing that almost completely flat ball all the way out to Kwame, who says, "Thank you, sir." It's a good pass there from Poink.
Bond against his former teammates. Martinez and Cohen can't shut him down, and that's a big one to get Dalton Bund going in this game.
And you could see at the last moment just turning that his hand, really coming off of Martinez, knowing that he can get that block-out kill.
Martinez. Dixon goes line, beats Povarenko.
That had some fire. Huge swing from Dixon. He's been a little bit up and down at times, but you can see like when he's got a little bit more space at the net, he is really putting the fire on that ball.
I've just seen Carla Mully have her head in her hands. I wonder if she was reacting to the hit or something else, as that's off the net tape. Well handled by Dalton Bund. Tamburini. Povarenko can only roll it over. Martinez close to the net. Dixon, that was a double deflection, I think. And Tamburini goes. Dixon. And then Tamburini. And that's a huge one for the Italian setter. That's his experience. Gets a round of applause from the head coach. They had no right to go on one there, but there's the gap in the court.
Yeah, we talk about him being an undersized setter and the problems that that can bring, and then he just goes and pulls something like that off.
As Matasenok's dug up by Izagure Rodriguez, but Bund goes low.
Yeah, that set a little too fast for him, a little too low, not quite making the connection, but again, those digs from Izagure, like so solid. Out to Bund on the opposite, who takes advantage of the one-on-one.
Yeah, and interesting that Dalton Bund's being able to go from the right side in this rotation. He'll go back to serve as well, as he's just trying to get a serving target, I think, from Mihail Stoev. I think there was a very quick flash signal. I definitely looked like he wanted to know where to go. He goes at Dixon, and Matasenok runs the middle. Great set. That's off the back of a beautiful pass. Exactly the type of clean offense that Malory will want to run on what looked to be a slightly easy set. Easy serve, excuse me. Great pass there from Bund. Povarenko.
And Povarenko into the
net.
antenna.
Well, into net himself, not the ball.
It hit the antenna.
He also went into the net, also hit the antenna, and there's, the Giants ball boy didn't quite realise it was a Malory ball. The balls were going to the other end of the court, but quick work to get one to Ryan Dixon as Malory have a 2-point lead. Overpass, Matasenok. That was got to be over.
This is going to be a really contentious moment because Tamburini's backcourt, the
There was
Malory
no
player,
touch on it.
but he's attempting to play the ball. His arm is all the way over the net. Arguably, that's over, and his backcourt should not be doing that. The point is awarded to
William Pellegrini with a shake of the head and a smile. As Omashemi, that's not a great set. He goes tight, cut shot. Well got to by Pavlenko. Point goes roll. And 2 in a row ties us up.
Again, you know, this is something that we see a lot from Point. He is so quick with his decision making when he's up at the net, trying to decide what shot he wants to put down. He is watching everybody on the court. Really, really great vision. Great pass there from Kwame. Rewarded with the ball. Oh,
Pavlenko goes down though. A little bit of contact at the net, but doesn't matter. It's a Giants point. Looks like just the back end of the foot, so not a major roll. He's just checking he's okay. Gives the thumb up. Says, I've got ankle support, I'm good.
yeah. Sometimes it's that moment of, you know, just give yourself an extra second on the floor. Have that mental scan of, does everything feel okay? Give yourself a second. But yeah, he looks like he's all right.
As Omashemi, lovely high ball out to Kwame. Kwame plays for the block, but Poverenko and Uarchi come down on it, and the ball hits the line, and Jefferson Williams immediately goes, that's the service run. Timeout is needed.
Yep.
And it's a 2-point Giants lead.
Yeah. Jefferson Williams here would just be wanting to stop this momentum. He will think that his guys can close this out in 4 sets. He won't want it to go all the way to 5 if he can help it. So just trying to put the brakes on here on this Giants squad.
Giants definitely emotionally fired up for this. And the changes have worked.
Yeah, Bund coming in and having an immediate impact. Really great in the defense. Really smart on the offense as the players make their way back on the court.
As the serve, Martinez sets Omashemi into the block. That one legally played by Point by going outside the antenna, inside the net. Omashemi misses. And we'll head down to Aliyah Raffat, who's got some thoughts, having listened to the Malory huddle.
In that timeout, you can hear head coach Jeff saying we need to pass, we need to set, we need to hit, we need to take advantage of these opportunities, especially in, well, now 3 points down, and they're coming back, and they need to raise the enthusiasm. We're getting a lot of ref calls that are stopping the game, so in these timeouts, Jeff is just instilling that you need to go back to the fundamentals and keep consistent.
Thank you, Aliyah, for that update. As the ref's going to huddle on this one. I think this should be a Malory point, right? Your rule knowledge is slightly better than mine.
This, to me, should be a Malory point because here we go. The likelihood of a ball being off the block, going outside the antenna, around the antenna, and then being playable, because you can only play an out ball if it's gone outside the antenna. What's the likelihood of that actually happening? It would have to almost do a half circle in the air magically. So.
Yeah. Good luck statting that one, Jess Smith. As that is nearly an overpass. Woo. But what it isn't is a Malory block as Hamza Uarchi. It makes an absolute monster swing. Jess, this looked like it was out of his reach, but just the length of the Moroccan able to get to it.
Just all arms with the full-on windmill, both arms going. Great swing.
Kwame into the block. Back to back for Giants, and they're on a roll. It was 13.
Ayachi making his way out there to help Tamburini on that block versus Kwame. And you can see him absolutely stuffing that one back down.
I was going to say it was 13-9, but it definitely wasn't because Malory's still on 12, but it's a big run of points, and the crowd are back in this game as they were in set one, which Giants dominated, as Omoshemi this time not into the block. Reminder, those who are joining us late, it was 25-12 to Giants in the first set.
Yeah, it's been a huge turnaround since then. A little bit of a weird glitch going on the scoreboard here at the venue where it says that set number 3 was 21-21. Not quite right.
Tamburini pushes it out to point. Omoshemi with the pancake point has to play it. Tamburini tries to go cute. Martinez going to run it down. Omoshemi with a ridiculous kill, almost standing on the floor, and he just puts it down. And I'm not sure how good Povarenko is. He's not moving great at the moment, Jess.
I mean, he's not. However, why is there no block on that huge out-of-system ball? He thought he might have.
He just thought it was going to be a free-ball pass.
I think he thought that he might have been over the attack line, so he didn't want to jump, but then he was already jumping.
As Omoshemi just misses the baseline, but another service error. He's really struggled from the line today.
Yeah, a few service errors from him. Even when he has gotten a serve in, he almost looks like he's hesitating on his approach, as though his toss isn't quite where he needs it to be. So he's had 5 service errors today, and a few.
Feels more than that as well.
It does feel like more than that, but I feel like even when he, like I said, even when he's serving it in, it almost looks like he's hesitating and just kind of rolling it in because the toss isn't right.
As Cohen goes into the net, immediately owns up to it. Jefferson Williams' heads drop, and it's a 3-point Giants lead, and we are potentially once again between these two sides going to 5.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it could genuinely go either way. You never know.
Martinez on the 3-meter line. Omoshemi, and that comes off. Zach Omoshemi.
Huh? What?
Wait, hold on.
No. That looked to me like it hit the net and bounced out off of the block.
Yeah, there was a touch.
No, I don't think anybody on the Malory side touched it.
I thought it came back. I thought they would. Well, originally, I saw the point that they came, if they thought it might have come back off Zach.
Yeah, Nick Heckford up there writing notes in his notebook. Curious what his thoughts would be about this one. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody over there to ask him right now. Okay.
And it is a Malory point.
Because that block was just so far straight down that it happened to hit the bottom of the tape on the Malory
Well, I thought
side
it might
and
have
then
even
bounce
hit
out.
Dalton Bunn's left hip initially. That's why I thought there was a second touch on it. But either way, I think they got to the right call.
I think they did as well.
Ben Kwame. Perfect pass once again. Buns hammers it through the block.
Huge gap in that block. Dylan Cohen struggling to get all the way out there. Bund against Martinez is going to be a matchup that Bund is likely to win pretty much every time. Jefferson Williams looking a bit disappointed about that. Great pass there from Kwame.
Martinez, Cohen off the shoulder of Uachi. Bund trying to get revenge. It is Dylan Cohen, and he does so. I think Ryan Dixon came across and helped as well.
Yeah, triple block on this play against Bund. And it looks like it could have been either or both Cohen and Dixon. But big block from them.
And that one, we've not seen many aces by Malory today. That's one from the middle, Dylan Cohen.
I mean, that is a spicy serve. Going from 5 to 1, straight down the line, tagging the line just enough to keep that ball in. Beautiful stuff.
As another big serve, well handled. Bund has to step back on it. Omoshemi, unconventional, keeps it alive. And Joel Martinez, the setter, Malory bench is going ape.
Oh my God.
And we are tied at 18 apiece. Jess, let's watch this setter kill.
Amazing. Quick reaction play from Omoshemi. Dylan Cohen puts up I'm setting the ball because I'm a middle and the setter's out, he thought. But perfect set out to Joel Martinez, and he says, yeah, sure, let's try this. Let's be an attacker, and squeezes his way through the block. That's a momentum changer. I mean, we're tied up 18-all now. So Malory have closed that 3-point gap, which wasn't massive, but it is all about the momentum. It's all about the mental game now. And I think I'm with you. I'm curious now about how Povarenko's actually doing. Is his ankle actually okay? Because he looks a bit stiff.
So, tied game. Malory 7 points away from a 7-0 start to the season, as Povarenko manages not to run into the ball, running around the baseline.
I will say, though, if Malory somehow pull this off, win this set, don't drop any points to London Giants. Start with a 7-0 for the season. After that big swing from Ben Kwame, wow. That's a statement in itself. I really love the speed. They're really running that big. So back row quick with Kwame. And it does throw off the block of the Giants.
So, Bond gets rejected by Dixon.
You are not going anywhere around that. Dixon does so well to press his arms all the way over the net. And again, JC is absolutely buzzing with himself for capturing another beautiful block.
What can Giants do to respond? They can tip with Povarenko, but Matusenox is under the net. And I'm assuming it's a Giants point. Indeed it is.
Yeah.
Matusenox immediately apologising, making sure everyone's okay.
Yeah.
We are back to 2020, and Jess, this is where in set 3, Malory pulled away. We were 2020 and they won it to 21-25.
Yep. So the question is, can they keep those errors down and close things out? Another great dig. Out to
Povarenko. Martinez are out of system.
Oh, that's very tight.
Tight set, and Omashemi misses the antenna.
Yeah.
And a rare misplay by Felipe Rodriguez.
Yeah. Bit difficult, that one. That set just a little too wide, but you can see the intent there. He's trying to give his players some room. That's not the best take there from Kwame.
Dixon, recycle. Martinez from deep, sets Kwame down the pipe. Tamburini gets a hand to it, but it'll be a free ball. Matusenox waits. Izagirre Rodriguez. Buns held it in his hands a long time, gets away with it.
Too easy there from
Omashemi read by point. Tight set, rejected. Bun first touch though, another chance for Dorian Point. He misses on the cross court.
Oh, goodness gracious. That ball looked well out. I feel like.
That is out by half a meter.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And this is the point at which you asked, should the referee be talking to the line judge
He's
about
also
his
not
placement?
on the line.
Yes. Massively. Again, you know, we'll probably talk about this on the podcast as well this week, but the line judges are so important because you need that extra set of eyes in the right place, looking at the right things.
Yeah, that wasn't close.
No.
And that should be a referee overrule. That's an important point.
Yeah, I mean, from a momentum standpoint, so Giants are now.
Ben's saying he needs to be close to the line, and I can't disagree.
I completely agree with him.
He's nowhere near the line. And now he's getting the talking to, but it's too late. Damage is done. Interesting moments, and obviously Malory will feel aggrieved after what happened last year at Final Four. A replay on an illegal sub, which definitely ain't in the rule book.
Yeah. Yes.
But again, it's not an easy job being on the line so much. We might need to give him credit, but positioning is important.
positioning is definitely important, and it's important to be vigilant. If you are a line judge, definitely pay attention. Think about how you would want line judges to be in a match that you are playing in. Always something good to keep in mind. But again, it can be tough, especially when you get, the players on the side that you're line judging for saying stuff to you. Great pass there from Kwame. And Omochebe is into the net this time. And this is where Malory have to figure out how to get out of their own heads with regards to what they feel is some unfair refereeing.
As Bund, Martinez, Dixon into the block of Dorian Point, who got up there, but Dixon did well to avoid the antenna as well. That was a little bit wide of a set.
I think you could see that Point saw what he was doing, and he was trying to push his hand in more and just couldn't quite get the strength behind it. That's really smart from Dixon.
Perfect pass by Dalton Bund in a pressure moment, and Pomerenko makes no mistake. Absolute monster down the line.
I mean, this has to be one of the most powerful swings that we've seen so far in this match. Pomerenko putting everything he can behind that one, folding his body in half. Rodriguez almost making a dig, but there's not a lot you can do with that. I think Kwame is just complaining about a screen as the London Giants players were all stood right next to one another. But smart swing there from Omochebe.
And serving sub coming. As the Giants fans trying to get their team over the line. As Jared Ulrich on to serve. 2 set points they need to save. They want to try and wrap this up and go out of Crystal Palace with 3 points potentially, which would be a massive statement going into the break. Or can Giants find a side out?
It's only one side out. It's not a lot.
Bond goes to their best hitter, but Malory defend Urochi well. Kwame, tight angle, Point gets a hand to it. Izagirre Rodriguez, nothing going on touch 2. Great effort by the Mexican libero, and he's into the stand. He's potentially hurt as well.
That was a great chase down from him. Hopefully he's okay. I think his teammate's just making sure that he's, and the second referee as well.
Back up
down there.
libero for London Giants is George Ivanov, who knows what he's doing. It's not a bad replacement if they need him. As Izagirre Rodriguez is going to say he's okay, but that looked like a very hard hit.
I mean, he was properly
and I think Michal Stove, he's got a timeout, you use it to give your libero time. He does.
Yep.
Great piece of coaching.
Yeah, I mean, it's your set point as well, so you might as well. You're on serve receive. Take advantage of the fact that you still have a timeout remaining. Give everybody just a moment to take a deep breath after a player goes into the bench. Relax those nerves just a bit. Put a little bit of extra pressure on the serving sub who has come in for Malory Eagles. There's only 1 point in it right now, but Giants is still with the advantage as they make their way back onto the court.
So set point 3, and Jared Hill here goes into the net. Coach's point, and we are going the distance here at Crystal Palace National Sports Centre.
What a way to close out that set. Again, a bit of contention with a couple of points that have happened as Giants captain is just waiting for the referee to come over to do the coin toss.
as Aliyah Rafa is on it for us.
So a 5-set thriller to close us out for Super League Live for 2025. What more could you ask for? The perfect Christmas present, right?
And hopefully we'll go down and understand what's happened from Aliyah Rafa, who's courtside. Aliyah, who won the toss?
And off that toss, we're going to see Malory going to serve to start off the set. And that was the Giants picking receive. And on that receive choice, you're choosing to immediately apply pressure, gain that early offensive momentum. The Giants are looking to start that early, and obviously they want to come out with this set.
Thank you, Aliyah, down there on court for us.
I think that's a really smart choice, actually, from Giants, because Malory just lost the last set on a service error. They've struggled with the service consistency all throughout this match, so this makes them feel that pressure as soon as this set starts.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens here, as I know Jess Smith's pulling up YouTube and having a quick look at that controversial point. And in fact, we were wrong.
It was in.
We are very wrong. We've just watched that back, and everything we said is wrong. And we hand our hand up. Commentator blooper. It looked out from up here, but
I'm going to disagree with you on one thing. We said that the line judge didn't have a good position,
yes.
and I stand by that. Still don't think he
correct.
stood in the right place. Everything else we said about the ball being out, completely wrong.
Yeah, it goes down as a blooper for us. So sorry for you at home. Good job, William Pellegrini and Katerina Stepanova. You got the right call.
Yeah, which is exactly what we want to see. You want to be able to watch it back and say, ah, yeah, okay. Agree with the referee, can see why they did that.
Hold on.
So we're just about to have...
So Kwame, Martinez, Omashemi, Matasenox, Dixon, and Rodriguez out on the floor for Malory. Joel Martinez to set up to start. Point has to wait on it. Little block touch. Kwame, lovely high first touch. Middle run off the head, I think, of Atticus, but Giants control it. Povarenko scoops it, legally so. Kwame from the back row. Long rally to start the fifth. Won by Povarenko on the cross court.
Great
Povarenko is a Giri Rodriguez, Bund, Tamburini, Point, Atticus, and now Hamza Uauchi, the middle, coming in on the service reception. So Giants starting with one of the middles to serve first, and they do so 1-0 up in the tiebreak. First to 15 in the Dynamik Men's Super League as Dixon gets the block out.
Smart swing there from Dixon. You know, you mentioned the starters and that the Giants had a middle to serve first, so that put them in zone 6. So Tamburini need to start in position 6 for that. So I'm wondering if they're just trying to get a specific matchup at the net or trying to gain some advantage from that perspective. Dixon's serve is just wide.
So 2-1, and the dangerous Ukrainian Povarenko back to serve and beats Dixon on the cross court. Top spin, took a little bit off it. He's found his rhythm from the service line.
Just a little fun fact of the stats on set number 5, where it's 3 points for Giants and 1 for Malory at the moment. The only 2 players that I currently have on this set's stat sheet are Povarenko and Dixon, with a kill, service error, and then an ace.
As that's a foot fault
Yeah.
by Povarenko.
Number 5, 4 or 5 of those for him.
I think
of the
that,
foot fault ones specifically.
yeah, we had one by Malory at the other ends, but yeah, it's definitely been the line monster. So Malory need to find a break point. Can they do so? Good by Bun, but even better by Hamza Ouchi. He reaches up to the roof to get that one and hammers it down inside the 3.
So I've just realized something about the way that Oichi plays that I don't know why this didn't occur to me before. I think he's the only middle I've ever seen that goes with a windmill swing. So if you watch any other volleyball, if you watch Gabby, she is another player that does that kind of full-on windmill swing.
Kwame with the rare serve reception error. We haven't seen many out of him today, and it's 5-2 Giants in the race to 15 as we've got a first set complete in Essex in a big pivotal game potentially in the Richmond Dockland season. They trail the Essex Rebels 25-22, so 1-0 lead for Essex. As Kwame aced again by Dorian Poink, and the experienced Polish player, back-to-back aces. Giants haven't had many today, and he gets the applaud from his team.
I think Kwame waiting a little too long to make a decision. I think he thought that ball was going to go long, but then couldn't get himself out of the way. So, but the minute that your feet leave the floor as you're trying to dig a ball, it's almost always going to go towards the ground instead of up. Really difficult one. Those were some really great serves from Point there. But massive momentum starting set number 5, where 6 points for London Giants, 2 for Malory Eagles in this 5th set. With Jefferson Williams taking the first of his timeouts, hoping to stem the flow ahead of Giants reaching that 8-point end swap moment. So we know that in the 5th set, that's a big momentum giver or killer, depending on which side of things you're on.
Poink aces Kwame for a 3rd time. Ben Kwame goes to eat his jersey.
So what do Eagles do here? So Dixon takes a step towards Kwame. And then Rodriguez says, no, come back.
This time picks out the libero. Dalton Bunn, legally, I suppose they call it as a block. Joust is won by Dalton Bunn, and it's 8-2 Giants. Malory are asking the question. Katerina Sepanova's right over to have a quick chat. If it is a Giants point, we'll have a change of ends.
I personally think that was an overreach because, yep, there we go. We get the call for Malory, as that will go down as a Bund error for encroaching. With a service error from Omashebe, bringing up that end swap. Malory Eagles heading to the other side of the court with only 3 points on the board. A 5-point disadvantage in set 5 is a tough hill to climb.
Yeah, it's interesting now. What do Malory do from a serve point of view? Is it ball in play, or do you just go for broke and really try and put pressure on? Because you need a lot of break points. It's not just like one. So you probably can't do it with just Giants errors. You've probably got to push the wagon, but doing that, you risk giving up 3 points, and Giants are 7 away.
Yeah, you do. I think your next serve, you just need to get one in so that you've not got another service error. Because they've had 2 in a row now for their serves, and they've only had 3 opportunities.
And Malory electing to make subs. So Sam Oshita into the game for the first time, replacing John Martinez. Sorry, not a Sam. David Butler? Yeah, David Butler. Apologies, into the game for the first time. We're in 17. Sona back into serve. He hasn't set since about 10-all in set 1. As Hamza goes with a very change-up float serve. Kwame dug up by Dorian Point. Another chance for Kwame. Point again Tamburini going to get there? That's going to be a tight angle. That's just about in play. And Butler wins it on the cross court. That's a big first swing.
Really huge impact of these two players that came on, but that was some great play. A huge chase down from Tamburini.
As Kwame goes short, Point, who's been everywhere in set 5. And Povorenko gets the better of Dixon.
Yeah, really smart swing from him there, taking advantage. So Giants retain their 5-point lead as Stoev just kind of walked onto the court a little bit. We're going to see another change for Eagles as Dixon leaves the court. That's well left. Wow.
Well, that was confident. That
so
wasn't out
close.
by much.
Wow. That was an impressive leave there by Rodriguez. And we're going to have another change for Malory.
Middle change as
Fresh legs all around.
Matusenox takes the break. And Dylan Cohen goes into the net.
Again, gifting those points at the moments that they really need them. That's 3 service errors.
This is what I said, is it risk versus reward, right? Pressure as Butler is blocked by Povorenko, and it looks like the London Giants are going to head into Christmas with the win.
It is looking that way. They've got the momentum as we watch this back, and you can just see that one-on-one. Povorenko was all over that block.
As Kwame a little bit short. Butler pushes it into the corner.
That's a great swing, well placed directly onto the baseline for Butler. As Giants are just going to wipe a bit of moisture off the court. Interesting that Stoev has made his way over behind the baseline to help his players do a bit of toweling up. So still, London Giants have a 5-point advantage.
Short serve, Bunn gets that. Point, who's dominated the set, a little bit lifty, but happy. Sonny goes aggressive, probably not the right call, but Malory stay in control of the point. Kwame from the pipe off the net tape.
That's a huge, really tall set.
Yeah, longer rally as that one off the net tape again. Samashita couldn't find the floor, but Giants do.
Big rally.
And Dorian Point has dominated the tie break.
I mean, 3
and
aces.
That might just be that. Jefferson Williams has tried everything. Zach Omoshemi on the bench. Ryan Dixon on the bench. Dylan Cohen on the bench. Joel Martinez on the bench. All started this set.
Interesting that he hasn't reversed that double substitution where Omoshemi would now be in the
Well,
front
he's only
court.
got, what, 2 left?
Yes, he does. He has 2 left. He's done 4.
As Oshida has to do something. Little tip play. As into the net goes David Butler. And Jeff's just checking he's got a timeout left, but I think he's left it too long. Oh, he's checking subs.
Yep. Yep.
Double
so
sub, Martinez and Omoshemi.
Yep. Unsurprising that
Yeah,
they're going to reverse that with their last 2 substitutions.
Down a few points. Jefferson Williams rolled the dice. That unfortunately did not pay off for his Malory team. And I believe that's 6 subs.
That is now 6 subs. 4, 5. Yes, so it is exactly 6 subs.
6 confirmed. I mean, 4 or 2 is pretty solid maths for us. We can manage that one, but
No
as
comment.
Kwame who's really struggled on serve receive in set 5, having done such a good job early. Forces the free ball. Point! Exclamation mark!
I mean, Dorian Point in this 5th set has been monstrous. We're going to watch that one again because he's got the one-on-one and absolutely demolishes it.
As free ball.
Great spot.
Libero kill! Felipe Rodriguez spots everyone inside the 3, pushes it deep, and there's one way to save a match point.
And I mean, Rodriguez there, he turns back to look to the bench as soon as he pushes the ball over the net and says, yes,
Such
look
a
at that
great
open
read.
spot, yeah.
But now, someone who hasn't served all day in Samoshida's got to find 7.
Yes. So we have so many match points for London Giants here.
Tamburini. Povarenko goes to the tip. Kwame gets a touch on it. Rodriguez gets there. Martinez gives up a free ball. I think he was worried about touches. As Povarenko is denied by Kwame. There's one. That's a big one by Ben Kwame, but maybe too little too late.
It might be, but you know, he's had a couple of really impactful blocks. This goes straight down. Boom.
Highlight reel.
Oh yeah, definitely. If on nobody else's, it would be on Ben Kwame's for the rest of his life, I think.
And Mihail Stoev uses a timeout.
Yep, they still have several match points here to go. Just trying to put a little bit of extra pressure, as if there wasn't already enough, on Oshita from the service line. But, I mean, this match has been so, I mean, the difference, set 1, 25-12.
Yeah.
Sets 2 and 3, Malory comes in, puts in a really solid performance, keeps Giants at bay. Set 4, a couple of, I don't know, contentious moments towards the end of set 4. I mean,
Well, we decided not in the end. We were wrong.
okay, yeah, on that one, but that wasn't the only one.
So, float serve. That's an overpass. And that
Yep.
is a Malory point. Net touch by Tamburini. 3 down? Surely not.
I mean, it seems unlikely. Tamburini's also backcourt, so he can't play that ball.
Yeah. Well, you can set it.
Not if it's over the net.
Yes.
So.
Point. To clinch the match, and he does. He squeezes it through the Malory block. And the London Giants come from 2-1 down to take the lead at Christmas in the Dynamik Men's Super League. They'll have a 1-point lead over the Malory Eagles. 18 points to 17. Nottingham have 13 points, so a 5-point little cushion. But Malory do have a game in hand, and they won't be too disappointed. That's a big point on the road.
Yeah, it's good to have that extra point on the day. I think they'll be disappointed because they were in control for a good portion of that match and probably could have closed it out, but just, you know, let things off the gas just a little bit. But I will say Dorian Point in that 5th set, 3 aces, 3 kills, absolutely monstrous for his team. Great in service reception, good defensive pickups. Yeah.
As we'll bring you some stats, and obviously stay with us, we'll get some reaction as we bring those up as Jess Smith goes to head courtside. Zach Omashemi leading Malory in the end, 21 kills, 2 blocks in replace of Nathan Fullerton on the opposite position. Danil Povarenko, 16 points, led London Giants in the end, 10 kills, 3 blocks, 3 aces. But he also did have 13 errors on the day. Hamza Uauchi, we talked about him in the pre-game, ended up with 13 kills and no hitting errors. And Dorian Point, 13 points. Ben Kwame, 12 points as well for Malory, who won't be too disappointed with a point here. Maybe wanted more, had a chance late in set 4 to maybe clinch it. with a 3-point swing. As the London Giants getting a picture. And we'll then hopefully get Aaliyah to catch up with our MVP, and that'll be no surprise to those of you that were with us for set number 5, where that's going a complete change in fortune. And then we'll bring you some courtside reaction as well, possibly catch up with Mihail Stoev ahead of the Christmas break here. Reminder, the Timeout podcast will be on Wednesday. Myself and Jess Smith recording that one. And we'll wrap up the first term here in it and bring you some reaction. It was also a big weekend in Division 1. Both leaders in the south and the north dropping points, so the race for the Super League hots up as well. And then league action will resume on the 17th of January. As the Giants team just in a quick huddle, we'll try and get everything sorted interview-wise with Aaliyah. Pull him. And we'll just get Aaliyah set up courtside. As Mihail Stoev is just speaking to his team down on courtside. And Aaliyah is now ready, as there we go. Aaliyah is with our game MVP, Dorian Point.
All right, we're here with 44, star of the match. Tell me, as an outside hitter, how are you choosing those aggressive swings against those smart shots in this 5th set?
This is like years of experience. When I see the ball is very close to the net, I know I cannot risk because the blocker can choose one or second side. I try to wait a bit, go fast, but wait a bit, look on the block and smash the direction where he is not by the chest. Yeah, it's like I told, years of experience and a lot of practices.
Yeah. And then 3 aces just in that 5th set to really seal the deal. How crucial was it in those moments when you guys had those 3 aces?
This was a crucial moment for me because from couple games I cannot break my toss, and this game, like, I feel this flow in this game, and I just make this. It's like I cannot explain this. Service is in my way, like I make service is like it's a day or not day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? If I feel good, and the team
then
is like the team helping me a bit and giving more balls, I feel it's the same.
And what were your teammates talking about going through those back-to-back sets, fighting, coming back, and then finally finishing the deal?
We know that here is like we have a very good team. We know who need to exactly do in every moment, and we trust each other. Everything is about also team spirit.
Yeah.
The team spirit making a lot of difference. Yeah. On the beginning, we try to adjust the squad. We try to feel each other, but now in the middle of the season, it's easy to see that we are grow as a team. We're making less mistakes, and we trust each other.
And right before the Christmas break.
Exactly.
Yeah? All right. Congrats.
I hope we keep this shape to the end of the season.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, that was Dorian Point, who, amazing performance. And yeah, you mentioned 3 aces, 3 kills in that 5th set alone. Really, really impactful for his team. But what a win for the home team for the Super League Live.
Yeah. Those middle sets back to back, point for point. It's exciting to watch, but I'm sure the coaches, the teams, you're just in your head with your teammates. Like, you're the only ones that can do anything about it are the people on the court, and the Giants came out today with that win.
All the teams now have a couple of weeks off over the Christmas period, and they'll be back in January.
Yep.
Just really exciting time. Amazing day out. So just a reminder, we saw in the first match between Team Side Out Polonia and London Lionhearts, Polonia taking that one in 3 sets, despite the fact that the last 2 times those teams have met, they've gone to full 5 setters, including opening weekend this year.
Yeah.
And then, of course, seeing a 5-set thriller to close things out.
Yeah.
Early Christmas present. Right?
Exactly, for everybody.
Yeah. So much fun.
Yeah.
Great day out.
Yeah.
Love the crowd.
Yeah.
Lots of really good stuff happening. Always fun to come out and watch some volleyball, get involved, and
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it was a good fight for both teams, but as we saw, the Giants kind of just took it to another level and gave it to Malory. So
yeah, really, really came out firing in that 5th set.
that 5th set was, I mean, we saw them going back and forth, slow, point for point, but that, I mean, those aces, I think really was the turning point of, like, they were taking it. They knew it too. So
yeah, really impactful stuff. So we're just going to have a chat with Coach Jefferson Williams, I think, in just a moment's time. So yeah, give it just a second.
Now with Malory head coach Jefferson Williams. Jeff, nothing went right in the first set. What were you talking about just to get the team refocused and make this a game?
The problem was we didn't start very well, first of all. No passing, no serving, and everything was all over the place. I think setting-wise, we didn't have an offense, okay? And simple as that. Against a team that the physicality and the height that they have, if we're not running an offense, then we have problems. So hence the, 25-15? Tricky one, yeah.
But what pleased you the most about the team? Obviously a lot of changes, no Logan, no Nathan, obviously Zach was huge, but it felt like a real team effort today to get back into the game and gave you an opportunity to win it.
The bottom line is the guys showed character, okay? We just decided, you know what, we need to we got to gamble on our serves a bit. We got to get our passing unit passing a bit better. And we got Joe back in, and he ran an offense that allowed us to take over and took control of the game.
And obviously you wanted to win, but coming into Crystal Palace, getting a point is still a positive. What are you going to build on for the second half of the season?
Well, it's hopefully what we'll take from this is the fact that we have strength in character. We know that when we're on top of the game, tactically, physically, we can dominate anyone. The problem is when we drop off a little bit and we make silly mistakes that we shouldn't be making. So if we can correct some of those, get our service weight up as they did in the 5th set. Okay, if we can get that service pressure on oppositions, then we should be in a good place.
Well, we appreciate your time as ever, Jeff. Enjoy your Christmas break.
Same to you and all the volleyball fans out there.
There you go, the thoughts of head coach Jefferson Williams. And Jess, we'll just wrap it up for now. And obviously Jeff said it there, a point for Malory is still a good result. They're still right in contention. This is the type of thing that really helps solidify the top 4. Seeding's not going to matter a lot this year.
Yeah, it's a bit tighter in the top 4. It doesn't matter the seeding so much. And we've seen, pretty much everything already this season. Anything can happen once we get to that final 4 day. You get those first couple of matches, you don't know what's going to happen, and then that writes the script for Sunday. So I'm sure it's going to be exciting no matter who makes it.
And obviously for London Giants, a huge points. They now get to top the table at Christmas. But it was a team effort. Diego Tamburini came in, Dalton Bung came in, and this really, the Giants have got a depth this year that they didn't have last year. How is the team going to beat them come Final Four?
Yeah, I think this is going to be really difficult because you think in a couple of months' time, when they've had a few more matches under their belts, they're even more gelled together than we saw them today. They might be unstoppable at that point. But, when Malory have Nathan back, if they've got Nathan and Zach both on the court at the same time, is that going to make a difference for them? There's still time for teams to sign players. There still can be changes to the lineup. So, we'll have to see what happens.
We'll bring in our courtside correspondent, Aaliyah Raffert, to finish us off. All of us are here. Big team effort. Aaliyah, what a good advertisement for volleyball that game was, though. Everything you had, emotional swings you had talking through the net. How does this set up the second half of the season on the men's side with just the dynamic shift of knowing that these games are so tight?
I think like we talked about at the beginning, you always want to win, but to win right before this big break where you're just going to be in the gym, you're going to be training, and you're going to be trying to come out as strong as possible in that second half of the season. I think taking this game, especially with the physicality of the game that we just watched, it's definitely got to feel good, and I'm sure it's going to feel even better coming out on that second half.
And Jess, just one game to go. Essex Richmond, will recap that, and we're going to have a fun episode on the podcast reflecting on both games today, because Side Out made a statement as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. They came out absolutely firing today, and seeing Grace back out on the court was excellent, and seeing how well she fit into that squad, despite that signing only being announced a couple of days ago. So yeah, really good stuff. But as Michael says, really fun episode this week. Definitely listen in on the podcast. We'll have extra thoughts about everything that's happened here today, all the other matches that happened this weekend. Plus, we get to grade people, which got to be one of my favorite things.
Of course, but we'll be back in January, I believe. We go to the Essex Sport Arena for an Essex-Newcastle doubleheader. From Jess Smith, Aaliyah Raffert, Michael Hansen-Myers, the entire Volleyball England team, thank you for your support in 2025, and we will see you in 2026.